forgot your intro, Harry. Hi. Hi, everyone. I was a bit put off by Harry's intro there because I forgot he was sat on the bog taking a shit as he was doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Go Live. It is another Saturday where we're going to get lit. You know the memo. If you're new here, welcome. You're going to enjoy the madness. It's going to be a great show. We're going to go. Sorry for being late. It was Asa's fault. And on that note, before we introduce our guest, Asa, how are you? Why are you late?
Yeah, I'm good. I apologize to everyone for being late, as I always am. All this time we've been saying that it was Gaz, and like all evidence points to it being Gaz. But yeah, I'm the problem. I am the problem.
It's always been Asa. It's always been Asa.
It's always him. It's fine. I forgive him. If you can forgive him, chat, I will forgive him too. Asa, what have you been up to, man?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. I've been trying to find like room in my schedule for playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I haven't started it yet because it's too intimidatingly long. So I've been playing Stormlands in VR, and I've been playing the Ascent Pancake and bits and pieces like that. But all good times.
Wow.
What did you say? Pancake?
Normal, just non-VR.
Yeah, pancake. So, okay, I'm going to go over this again because people do get upset. But I'm going to remind everyone, pancake games are flat screen games. It's not derogatory. Everybody loves pancakes. Find me a person that doesn't like pancakes. But pancake games, as opposed to VR.
Yeah, he does do it as a term of derision. He looks down on us normal non-VR peasants all the time. He really does. But okay, interesting games that you're playing. I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to introduce the guest and then get into the games. Brian, KBG, talk to me. What have you been playing, bruh? Looking like Johnny Bravo.
Hoo-ha. Yeah. Hello, everybody. It's good to see everyone. It's good to be on the show. Thank you very much for having me. Hope you all having a lovely weekend. Happy birthday to Gaz. Yes, indeed. I see that popping off in the chat. And whoever said that bear shitter earlier, context. But yeah, it's gonna be back. I don't know if we're talking about what we're playing, but yeah, I'm gonna just hold off on that, man, because that's. Yeah,
we are definitely going to. It's Baldur's Gate. We have to talk about bear sex. So don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. That's what she said to the bear. What have you been playing, KBG?
Oh, okay. Let me just say, because I wasn't here the week that the actual game of the year came out, which is a little game I like to call Pikmin 4.
Oh yeah.
If people follow me, like I was hanging out with the Gaming Duo podcast, and they even like shouted me out in their podcast. They're like, "I know Kibiji's really happy right now because of how well this game's reviewing."
Yeah.
And I was listening, and I'm like, "They're right." Dude, I've been playing Pikmin 4, and I freaking love it. That was my most anticipated game of the year. Believe it or not, over Starfield, over Tears of the Kingdom, over Street Fighter 6, Final Fantasy 16, over Spider-Man 2, over everything. I was looking forward to Pikmin 4 the most. And I'm so happy. It's one of those feelings of like after Kingdom Hearts 3 and Halo Infinite, like I was happy about those games when I played them. They were about what I was expecting. But Pikmin 4 is like everything I was hoping. You know, there's a difference. It's everything I expected, but then there's everything I had hoped. And it's been a long time since I played a game that it's like, yeah, this is everything I had hoped. And
that's cool. Pikmin though, I've never really maybe I tried it for like a few seconds. I just not
loved the first two. They were some of my most played during that gen. Absolutely loved those games.
Never really got into it.
Yeah.
Never really got into it. So Pikmin 4, okay.
Otherwise, the cycle is just Fall Guys, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Halo. Fall Guys, Yu-Gi-Oh, Halo. Three very different games, but that's my multiplayer cycle.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Pikmin is a game I've always wanted to try, but when it was first revealed, it looked incredible to me. But it's not a game that I've never managed to get into. It's one of those like Animal Crossing. I feel like you need to devote some time to really glean most of it.
Don't talk to me about Animal Crossing. My missus has 700 hours in that fucking game. She is obsessed with it. It's all she plays.
Yeah.
God damn that game.
It was during COVID. Everyone was on that because they just needed.
It's during being married to Harry. Like, you just need something, right? Sorry, Harry.
Yeah, it's true. Very similar kind of oppression there.
She needs to escape. Just any way she can.
Oh, it does look nice. I've never played it. I don't know. Maybe I miss out on it, but it's
basically my roommate walked by and saw me play, and he's like, every time I watch you playing this game, I have no idea what's happening.
I mean, and I'm like, dude,
it's just a really pretty get shit done game. That's basically it. It's a very pretty get shit done. That's it. That's all it is.
My missus has like the strongest negative feelings towards like cute fuzzy bears. It's so bizarre. She'll like get like Bobby Cuddlins will come into her island and she'll be like, that is the worst bear in the world. Fuck that bear. It's so strange. We're talking about fucking bears. It's so strange how emotionally attached you can get to these like little chibi animals in your garden. It's mad.
And you can spawn as many as you want, but you feel pain whenever you lose any. You make hundreds of these guys, but when you lose a single one,
Pikmin? He's talking about Animal Crossing.
Oh, I'm talking about Animal Crossing.
Are you
but yeah, Pikmin is the same.
I thought he was talking about Pikmin.
Pikmin is the same, where you get so like in love with these tiny little dudes, and then they just
my fucking days. White Pikmin, they just look like wet sperm cells. But what? Don't confuse me like that. I'm like fuzzy bears. Then he's talking about loads of little. So my ADHD was bad. Fuck's sake, Harry. Fuck.
Sorry.
Fuck. It's not that serious. Well, that's Pikmin. I don't know what more we can say about Pikmin. Asa, do you like Pikmin?
No, I once played. What's my only exposure to Pikmin was part of like a different off-brand Nintendo party game on the Wii U, where you had to like flick them around with your finger, and it was terrible. I don't know what those little shitty things are. Sorry.
Is Pikmin in Smash Bros? KBG?
Yeah, all of them are.
All of them are. Yeah, I think so. I thought I remember that. Maybe that's the extent of my Pikmin.
It's a very low-key franchise.
It's not like
there's a topic we might be able to hit later. Stick around, folks. But yeah, there's. I don't know. Based off your title, we're going to talk about something. So.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to spoil it, but there might be an opportunity to kind of talk about just low-key franchises and their exposure now. So.
Okay. No, we'll definitely talk
Pikmin
about
was
that.
one of those.
Okay.
Pikmin for me. So I've got my list of Nintendo, like the Switch. I don't play it particularly, but there's quite a long list of games that I really want to play from the Switch, and I don't really touch the console. But if they were to release like a new console or something that supported these games and made them a little bit more TV friendly, there's a massive list of games that I would play. Pikmin is not on that list, but it's not on the list of games that I hate either. It's just there. It's just Pikmin.
Purgatory.
It's just there. Yeah.
Nintendo games. Yeah. No. Well, I guess it's such a mad year for games. It's just going to go down as one of those years. Especially this gen. Already this gen is better for me than last gen, and this year really solidifies that. So Pikmin is another game which I doubt I'll get a chance to play. It's one of those, like, it's there, like your purgatory. You don't hate it. Hate's a strong word. How can you hate Mario? You're such a piece of shit, Asa, if you hate
Did I say that?
I do. And I'll explain why in a minute.
Oh, fuck's sake. I'm surrounded.
I'll explain
why, Harry.
then.
Why do you hate?
Hello, everyone. It's me, the Twitter's biggest idiot, apart from that guy that said he was going to leave and then came back 2 days later. I hate Mario because I've just completed Mario 64 with my 4-year-old, and fuck me, that game sucks. Oh my god, Mario 64 does not hold up. It does not hold up.
Damn, Harry.
Right
damn.
Asa's the same. He thinks Mario 64 is shit.
Harry warned me before it comes on that he's always right, and I had my doubts, but no, he's on point.
Yeah, always right. No, for its time, fantastic game, really good. But we've got 2 analog sticks now.
That's where you've lost me.
We have 2 analog sticks, and that makes it almost impossible to play Mario 64 now with a Switch controller. It's just so difficult. The game itself isn't hard. I did a 70-star run, like fully completed, and even up to the last Bowser battle, I still couldn't figure out fucking controls because it's just so counterintuitive and janky. So I don't hate Mario as like an entire franchise, but fuck that game.
Like this game. Yeah.
Fuck that game. Especially with a 4-year-old. It's very hard to like that game anymore. But yeah, I've that's what I've been playing, Mario 64, and then a couple of Game Pass games. Like Toem just came out. Had no idea what it was going to be like. It's Pokemon Snap mixed with Fez. It's like a little rotating 3D Fez-like world where you have to take photos of stuff. About 3 hours long, really nice. Short Hike just came out like 2 days ago on Game Pass. Played that, completed it in about 2 or 3 hours. Really just nice, relaxing game where you just take a little hike to a mountain and you meet lots of little cute fuzzy characters. Really nice. And then last night
you said Bramble shit game.
Bramble
gameplay wise is shit, but the game was I completed it. I thought it was really interesting. Controls, everything, gameplay was crap, but did you just quit that game?
What, Bramble? No, I finished it because I'm on my finish as many games as I can this year. I'm up to 51 now. It's just like a totally average game that's like it's fine, but I feel like a lot of people may have been overhyping Bramble because it came out on a certain like subscription service. Not that that's ever happened before, but I feel like some people.
Bramble.
I genuinely think that people overhype Bramble.
I didn't receive much
fine.
overhype, but I felt like it was fucking. I can see why people talked about it because it was pretty.
It was okay,
unique in terms of stories.
Then, like you said, the controls were trash.
Gameplay was shit. I'm sorry, the
gameplay was crap.
Yeah.
It was okay, but then I played another game last night called Venba, which is like an hour long, and you play as like a Tamil family that moved to Canada, and it's like basically a interactive novel based around cooking traditional Tamil food. Tamil.
Was like if sounding like what the hell's Tamil? Tamil.
Yeah. So
all
it's
my Tamil brethrens in the chat.
Sorry,
I got a lot of Tamil.
Sorry, I'm going to be cancelled for mispronouncing it.
Tamils are Sri Lankans. They literally got ostracized and murked in a crazy civil war, which no one talks about because the world and whatever. But Tamils can handle their spice. Great. Shout out to the Tamil.
So Venba's like an hour to an hour and a half long, sort of like Coffee Talk, where it's just a visual novel that has some gameplay aspects to it. Very simple, very easy to sit and watch, but it's got like a really nice but also quite horrific story behind it. But no, Venba was good fun. So that was 51. That was game 51 of the year that I've completed.
That's wild, dude.
I'm sorry.
Shout out to the short games.
Void Rat, you can suck my. I can handle my spice. Do you think this? Void Rat and Zane, I want to see a video of you on your channel eating this and see how long you last. Well, you last longer than I did, 1 minute 30. But that was hard. I did. They're alluding to. I did a hot chip challenge. I'd love to see Harry do it. Your white face would just die.
That.
I would pay you to do this. Go on, Harry. Don't be a bitch.
No, I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it. No chance. It would have to be 5 figures. So no chance.
I like to enjoy being alive. That's. There's other ways of doing that than to make me feel pain.
It was bad.
Yeah,
it's bad.
I am not up for that at all.
Oh damn.
Yeah, they're super.
Chatting with the. I was just about to mention you, Augie. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. Because happy early birthday, guys. Yes, it's my birthday in a few hours. You hope you had a great weekend without any spicy food since you can't take it. Wow. And maybe you'll even get that sauce video out. Wow, double murkage. Now, if you could get that thing off Ace's face, you might enjoy normal games like Pikmin. What is he talking about? What thing is on his face? That's his face.
I was going to point out, you both have grown that facial hair, man. You guys got it going.
Yeah, it's true. I do need to get a shave, but that's just. Huggy, thank you so much for that. By the way, Huggy, since you've done that super chat, you need to watch that video chat. Huggy soldiered it through for 10 minutes, but after those 10 minutes, he collapsed. He caved in. He looked like he was about to give birth. He went off screen. He was in fetal position in his bed, came back. It was hilarious. So, Huggy, you, to be fair, you can handle your spice. It's called gut rot, that feeling where you've just been stabbed in the stomach. So, this, I wouldn't take it lightly. It is raw. But Zain Bashir, Void Rat, I want to see you do it. Let's see. Yeah. But thank you so much for that. But yeah, what were you playing? You were talking about some games that no one cares about. F you, Harry in the face. Super Mario 64 sucks. What is wrong with you people? Okay, have you played Super Mario? Not Odyssey. Is it Odyssey? The last one?
Which
the
one?
cap?
That's the latest 3D one.
Yeah,
with Cappy. Yeah, that was fine. That was okay.
That's brilliant. I thought it was incredible.
The thing is, Gaz, is that I've got a 4-year-old and all he does is watch goddamn YouTube videos of like stupid morons playing Mario Odyssey that they've modified. And all I can think of now when I see Mario Odyssey are these goddamn stupid kids YouTubers. Yeah. YouTube has killed Mario Odyssey for me, unfortunately.
I can understand that. Yeah, that's
mods for Mario. That's weird.
Yeah, it's horrendous. It's the worst gaming content on YouTube, and that's saying a lot considering Wooly.
He's saying Baby Shark Doo-Doo-Doo killed Mario.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today, I'm gonna play Mario Super Sunshine. Woo!
Yeah, that's essentially all I hear for about 4 hours a day.
Basically,
thanks.
That's torture. Good. That's torture. Oh, Huggy was talking about VR headset. Sorry, Huggy. I was like, what? I didn't get it. But yeah, okay. That sounds like hell, but great. I'm sorry you're going through that. Okay,
it's great.
Yeah, it would make me hate Mario as well. Okay, interesting games. Very diverse, very different. Harry, you always play loads of diverse games, which is really good.
Well, I've got to complete as many games as I can, so it's nice that Game Pass releases these like very short games, and I can blitz through about 10 of them in a week.
Okay, what is it? What are you trying to? Is this like a personal challenge?
Yeah, so last year I just didn't play that many games. I just with doing Gamers Watch, I just completely burnt out of video games for like 6 months. So I hit January the 1st and I just said, like, I want to challenge myself to play a game and finish it every week. And so some weeks there might be a lot where I play, and then I played as much as I could up to Diablo 4. And then that took over my life for about 3 weeks.
You put your kids onto YouTube Mario channels, your wife onto Animal Crossing, and you got your head down, played them games.
Yes, I did. But I've found so many games that I never, ever would have played by doing it. Like there was an indie sale just a few weeks ago, and I found some really great 2 or 3 hour long games that without this ridiculous challenge, I never would have even picked up. And like Hi-Fi Rush, I had no sort of... Well, I watched it and it looked cool, and I was like, oh, that looks quite good. And then I wouldn't have normally gone to play it because I normally would have been stuck playing FIFA or just in my cycle. And I forced myself to finish that game. And by the end of it, it's probably my game of the year. Same with Dredge. Played Dredge just on a whim because it looked okay. And I absolutely love Dredge. And it's, again, one of my games of the year. It's been good.
If that's got in the way of you playing the bigger games, because I love that.
Yes.
That's what I figured. Because I kind of want to do what you're doing, but then it's the bigger games take up all my time, which we'll probably get into this later too. But especially if you're a Game Pass person, September, there's a lot of littler games coming out on Game Pass, and then of course there's the one big one that'll take all your time. So which one do you do? So
what I generally tend to do is play maybe 3 or 4 short games in the space of a week. That then means that I've got 3 weeks of that month left if a big game comes out. But I'm also playing Red Dead Redemption 2 at the moment for some reason. Like I just started that again and fell in love with it all over again. And I'm like 25 hours into my fourth playthrough of the game. So I'm like balancing play. That's why I love quick resume. It's the best. So I'm balancing playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and wanting to play that for about 5 hours every night, but then making myself play these games. So like Venba, never would have played that. I would look at it and think, oh, it's just Game Pass fodder. But it's got a genuinely amazing story that I would have otherwise missed. It's only an hour and a half, but I otherwise would have missed the game that actually has got a lot of heart and soul to it that deserves to be played. And I know that people say like, oh, there's no big bangers coming to Game Pass, but for someone like me wanting to actively play lots of smaller games, it's been a very good game for a year for gaming. Definitely.
Absolutely. And you haven't even touched on the big one, so that's kind of crazy. That is wicked.
It's next year.
Colt in chat. Thank you, Colt. Next year, yeah. Good luck with that, because that backlog is disgusting. What have I been playing? I just so everyone's talking about Remnant too. So before, I never played Remnant 1, so I spoke to my mate Dean and he said, let's just play Remnant 1 before we get into Remnant 2, because if we like it, then we get to play the older game and then appreciate it before jumping onto 2. And Remnant 1 is such a fun, challenging game. Like, we've been playing it. We played it on default is let's play on hard, because just like, let's be real, hard mode isn't really a hard in a lot of games these days. It's like the new normal. For a lot, like, it depends on skill-based stuff, but it's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. This is not hard. Wrong. we did not appreciate the fact that this was basically like Soulsborne shoot 'em up kind of game. And it's so funny because my mate Dean's like, oh mate, this is supposed to be hard. It's not hard. Bam, a big mob comes in, downed him. It's just like, oh, that's a streamable moment. But yeah, and then we were just getting wiped on the first dungeon, like on sewers, and I thought this immediately makes you think about you have different classes. You have you know 3 different types of classes. I'm a healer class, use more run and gun shotgun, cycling through powers. Just really interesting game. Like, I thought, you know what? A lot of Soulsborne games get a lot of flack from a lot of people saying, oh, they're upping up the difficulty. But really what that also does is it enables you not to just roll through enemies and everything becomes really generic. It slows things down. You have to think about how to, face encounters. Every encounter is different, by the way. It's randomly generated. So you won't go just shooting the same mobs. The map's the same, but bosses will spawn. Different types of bosses will spawn. And it took us a while to beat one of the bosses in that game, where we had to devise a strategy. It's like, all right, you take out the mobs. Well, that was just our early impression of Revenant, and it looks really good. Can't wait to actually play it. That's the reason why I'm late. And then get to hopefully jump into Revenant 2. It's like Mass Effect 1. Like, so different to Mass Effect 2. The sheen, everything, the quality levels just went up with Mass Effect 2. So Remnant 1 to 2 will be an interesting jump as well.
Can I ask, you said you're playing like a healer. Is that useful if you're ever playing on your own?
I think in this game, because my early impressions are you get 1 item heal, you get hearts, you munch the 3 hearts up to the next checkpoint, you heal. And my healer has a cooldown ability that can heal. And in this game, health is really important. I could see, it's a good question. I could see it being important, instrumental, even in a single player thing. But what it was really good is like, yo, Gaz, and I need heals. So drop the AoE heal, area effect.
That's what I imagine. That's like a squad person. You're like essential kind of a thing. But like solo, I'm like... I wonder. No. It's a good question. I haven't played it solo, and it's not a game I will play solo, because the primary reason I bought it is me and my friend were just itching to play something co-op after a long time. See, I've been hearing fantastic. I like literally just before this, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Remnant 2, and by the way, Rem with an M, Remnant. You were saying Revenant. It's Remnant, but
it might be honest.
Yeah, all good. People knew what you were talking about, but
oh shit!
yeah,
I even tweeted Revenant too.
You did, Gaz. I didn't want to say anything because I know.
Me. Why I'm just
I'll say it for you, Harry.
No one told me. It's Remnant.
Yeah, but you
I'll
pay
be the
Elon
person.
so you can edit. Out. It's fine.
I can't.
So I'm the person, I guess. I'm the jerk. All right. But
quick,
yeah,
Gaz,
like,
edit the tweet. Edit the tweet.
I can't
do that.
Just let me do it.
Elon would rather change the brand than allow you to edit your tweets. But anyway. But yeah, I was listening to these peeps, and I think that's the thing that keeps me away is because I've been hearing it's been reviewing great. It's actually been selling decent too, but like I get worried about those co-op games. Like people are like, "Oh, when you get Diablo 4, you got to hit me up." I'm like, dude, I just kind of want to play it, and if people want to play with me, awesome. And then also I want to play it on my own. Like, I like being able to do both pretty safely, but.
I think you can do both in this game is set up for that. I think it's one of those that you will enjoy more in co-op. Same with Diablo.
For sure.
With Diablo. Remnant 2, I definitely want to play after Remnant 1. Very early on, I want to see what the bosses are like. But it's a really good game. And it just reminds me, like, I haven't even played Remnant 2. This year is insane. And then we've got another Game of the Year contender, which we're about to talk about, alongside Bear Sex simultaneously. Before that, let me hit these super chats. Poxy, remember for 21 months. Happy birthday, Gaz. Actually, is my birthday in a couple of hours, but thank you. And Silent Cypher as well. Thank you so much for that. Hope you have a great day. He says, I hope you do too. Pigmen. Are we talking about Harvey Weinstein's documentary? No, but Pikmin.
We actually are. I was talking about that, not the game.
Were you? Oh, that's why you love Pikmin so much.
Yes.
Interesting. Face, we'll read your super chat very shortly. But it's so funny that you super chatted that because that's just perfect. Thank you for that. Calvus Alvarado with a $2 super chat. My 4-year-old watches Mario Odyssey playthroughs as well. What is going on? The new generation.
Feel the pain.
Yeah. Sorry, Carlos. You have our condolences because that sucks. Before we do get into the game chat, some updates on both consoles. Quite interesting updates, really. The Xbox Series consoles have got Discord integration. Well, they already have it, but now you can stream your gameplay to friends. That is very cool. That's a very cool feature. Obviously, I haven't tried it. It's actually open to insiders already. I'm not in the insider thing because that thing was a bit too janky for me. But have any of you lads tried it?
I'm not insider. It bricked my Xbox One, so I'm out of that. Yeah, it properly did it in. So yeah, no, I took myself out of the insider program as quickly as I possibly could.
I did something similar. It was like bad news. I mean,
I got a friend that's been trying to get me in the insider program. I'm like, dude, I'm good. I don't need to see these things early. I'll just use it when it comes out. No, I'm super happy about this feature with one caveat, however, very big caveat, mind you, because I do talk with people. I get in the Discord parties. I love that that's a feature, just like getting in a party chat or whatever, and it's just same spot. I love that. And then literally my bud was like, he was in a chat with me and he got super sassy and he's just like, oh, well, you know exactly what I'm doing if you were watching my stream. And I'm like, first off, calm down. Second off, I can't do that because I'm on console. But now you still can't do that. Keyword, because you can stream what you're doing to people, but you can't watch what they're doing. That's the update. Like looking into it, that's a thing. So you can stream what you're doing on your Xbox and show it to everybody, which is still great. I'm not trying to belittle that. That's still a step. And I hope they take the second step, which is you can also see what your buds are doing. Yeah.
Through your Xbox.
This is something I've said for a while. Like everybody was like, how come PlayStation doesn't have quick resume? And I'm like, okay, here's the thing. Xbox got that quick resume thing, but PlayStation, I love that they got that pin see what your butt is doing feature, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Like you could watch your friends in the corner and pick what area you want their stream on while you're playing God of War or whatever.
Yeah, that's really
And
good.
I wish you could do that. And I thought that this was finally that feature, but it's not quite there yet. But at least you could show what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised by it. I thought that's a very good feature anyway, and that seems like the next step in integrating Discord. It's quite interesting to see Discord become so integral on both consoles. The PlayStation 5 has Discord integration as well in chat, and I'm sure it will have the same feature, or it might do. I mean, the PlayStation doesn't need it, but it's still, Discord is the hub, isn't it? And Discord just seems to be growing and growing. It's like almost like a competitor to our platform.
Really is. What I have done, I haven't used Discord on the Xbox really. I mostly chat through the PC anyway, even if I'm playing on the Xbox, just because my setup's all in one place. But what I did do was play games last Sunday using Xbox Party Chat as a harrowing reminder that shite doesn't work very well. I was live on the stream with people connecting like, oh, I can hear you, but I can't hear you, but you can hear you, but I can hear you. No, this is all Xbox as well. Like Xbox Party Chat is just not as reliable as Discord. It's absolutely not, which is fine because you can use Discord on the Xbox and on PlayStation. It's just... What's that?
There's something that I wasn't aware of. Did you know that you can do Party Chat through the Xbox app on your phone? Because I found that out like 2 weeks ago and it blew my mind.
Yep.
I had no idea that was a feature.
That's been a thing since like Xbox One. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. And I was trying to do what you were doing. I was trying to get it to work. And
having one person being on the phone was the solution for it. I think it changed a while ago, but it used to be that if you had one person connecting to Xbox Live Party Chat on a phone, then it meant that you had a server rather than a peer-to-peer connection. Like it guaranteed you server-based comms and then everything would work perfectly for everyone. But I think that went away and now it's unreliable. So use Discord instead if you're playing multiplayer.
Yeah, no, it's true. Discord integration on both. I've actually tried on PS5, but on the series consoles, it's really good. It's almost like woven into the menu really well. And again, it's a lot of room for improvement.
Well integrated. Yeah.
But I'll say Party Chat versus Game Chat on PlayStation. Again, that's another level low. Game Chat on PlayStation is just, I never enjoyed it. I thought the voice quality is shit as well. Just my experience, but I haven't had to use it in a while. So in fairness for that, I barely use my PlayStation. But yeah, it is a really good move. And I'm really surprised. I wasn't expecting that. And Discord is now becoming the thing. I almost feel like Xbox may have wanted to buy Discord at this point when there was the rumors were up for a sale for like 50 million or something. I don't know.
I thought they tried. No,
I think Discord wanted to sell. Microsoft didn't buy. If I'm trying to remember, this was a story a year ago.
Definitely rumors.
It was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and Microsoft then Sony bought some shares or something, right? Or something. And yeah,
sure.
Yeah, but either way, that's a good feature.
I know that a lot of Xbox first-party games have a really solid Discord community. So, Sea of Thieves, I absolutely love Sea of Thieves, but it's terrible to play on your own. And if you don't have friends that play Sea of Thieves, like I don't, they're all on Diablo 4 or Madden or FIFA, you can just jump into the Sea of Thieves Discord chat and just be like, hey, does anyone want to like party up and go on an adventure? And you can just find instantly on Discord 100 people who want to just fuck about for 3 hours on a boat. And Discord, I think, has upped the level of the Sea of Thieves player base, where I don't think it would be where it is now if it wasn't for Discord. I think Discord has like not saved that game, but it's raised it to a level where I don't think it would have got to just with Xbox groups or party chat. I genuinely feel like it's had a big impact on that game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That kind of integration. So Discord's been important in so many different things. It was used as a movement for political rallies and stuff. It was like, it goes to show that the strength of connectivity is so important. It's what leveraged the 360 way above the PS3, just party chat. It really was something transformative for that gen. So Discord is an extension of that, and it's leveling the playing field between, and it's just breaking down the barriers. So anyone on PlayStation, on PC, on Xbox, all jump into a Discord party together. I used to play COD when COD Modern Warfare 2 came out. I was playing with strictly Strictly Gaming. Shout out to him. And playing with him, he was on PC and I was on Discord, and he didn't even know I was on. He thought I was on PC because of the way I hopped into his Discord server, and it's like you didn't even realize I was on Xbox when I was playing with him. So it's just making things more seamless. It's more homogenized. It's really nice, and something as basic as communication shouldn't really have that many barriers there anyway. So I'm really glad they did that. Huggy with some facts. Thank you with the $5 super chat. He goes, Xbox had offered 10 billion to buy Discord, but Discord thought they'd be better off going IPO, so the deal fell apart. Thank you, Huggy. That rings a bell. Makes sense. At the same time, PlayStation's rolled out some really cool features. One that I'm not so it's open to abuse. It's actually a good feature. It's an accessibility feature. You can use the second controller for assistance, which is great for some people who need it. Maybe people with disabilities or something like that, or make it even like a typically single player game or something. You just want your partner or a friend or to hop in and have fun. That's good. But a second controller could also be used and abused for people who are like, all right, let's do, I don't know, stream 1v1 Tekken, and someone else comes and is secretly playing. You've got some MLG Pro hiding behind the sofa playing. So it was like, because BG was tweeting about this, and I thought, that's the first thing that came into my mind. Like, that's open to abuse, but that's a good feature. That's a very niche problem. Also, Asa, you are the audiophile here. You did a very good video on this channel the last time you did a Technalysis. I think you came under the Technalysis banner where you compared
audio file. Right, I heard file and panicked. Sorry, guys. Okay. Sorry. Dumb joke.
Yo, what the fuck?
I like how it just clicked with them too, like 15 seconds later. Audio file.
Sorry. Sorry, Asa.
Anyway,
I'm thinking of the Big Bang Theory episode as well. Wow. Dolby Atmos is coming to PlayStation. Asa, you like audio files, but support for Dolby Atmos is coming. It's quite significant, though. But what's your takeaway from this for someone who has experience and compared all the audio stuff?
The main thing, thanks for that, by the way, Harry. No, I'm not an audiophile either. Audiophiles there's a whole load of people in the population that have really keen ears for the quality of audio. The people that like insist on listening to FLAC files and things like that. I'm not one of them, but I do like positional sound. I do like Atmos and all the rest of things. The Tempest audio in the PlayStation 5, for the longest time up to now, I would have said that if you like your audio, the Xbox is better for home theater and the PlayStation is probably just about edges it on headphones, but there's not a lot in it in the headphone space. So what's really happening here is Sony, when the PlayStation 5 came out, promised that eventually Tempest audio will be available on home theater systems. And right from the off, I said at the time, like, not if you don't use like Atmos or DTS or like one of these codecs that can actually pipe out to a receiver that can decode it and pipe it out those overhead speakers. That's what's happening now. They're using Atmos. So they're using Tempest audio in exactly the same way as they were before to get the soundscape, say this is what it is, and then they're using Atmos to pipe it to a receiver in a way that that receiver can understand and surround your head in your living room. So it's a good thing. It's not better or worse than what Xbox are doing. It's just a good thing.
Okay. No, it's good. It's good to see both. I just thought I'd get these little incremental updates out of the way. They're pretty good updates on both fronts, so it's good. There's good features out there. Finally, these consoles are getting some meaningful updates. Xbox still had that Dash update, which still hasn't rolled out for me. Yeah. I guess I don't know what's happening with that.
You know what's weird is I have it on my Series S.
The Switch only got Bluetooth like a year ago, and Sony have got Atmos now.
Yeah. It's weird. Just that dashboard really quick. I, for some reason, have that update on my Series S in my bedroom, but my Series X in my living room doesn't have it.
Oh, really?
So I don't know what's going on.
I didn't know
and it's funny because I got my S like 2 years or 3 years after I got my X, or 2 years. Yeah, after I got my X. So it's like, you put it on the newer console and not the one that's been around longer?
I didn't know they did it like that. Okay, so that's weird. I thought they would just roll out to everyone at the same time. But not.
I guess it's progressive. I don't know.
Maybe it's okay. That's interesting.
I don't know. If somebody has a solution.
Some people's X's are updated, others aren't. Okay, so I didn't know it was like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's going to change anything, but yeah.
I only bring it up because did you say you haven't gotten the update either?
Nah, I haven't got it.
Yeah, so I don't know.
They did it.
I don't know.
Yeah, didn't know they did it like that, but it's not a big deal. But
yeah, I don't care.
It's weird, Gaz, because you're paid off by Microsoft and you haven't got the new updates. What's going on?
Wait till if I get to meet the execs in a couple of weeks, they'll be you definitely paid. The next topic, Jedi Survivor. I don't know why for all the games as well, Jedi Survivor is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Like, what the you think? I was like, fix the fucking current gen versions first, man. Like, it's such a good game. It's sat there installed. I can't play past the first level because I'm waiting for the performance mode to be sorted, or even fix the freaking quality mode to a stable 30. And it's not. It's coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Incidentally, and won't mention who. Really nice chap. He's obviously connected to. It works for someone high up. When this whole thing was happening, where PlayStation was doing its really misleading adverts, was coming to PS5 only, and it had Suicide Squad and it had Jedi Survivor there. A lot of people tried to counter that. So, well, obviously it says PS5 only because they're just trying to tell you it's not coming to PS4. That moment, he DM'd me, goes, I'm just pasting this here for future reference. At that time, so he obviously knew the PS4 and Xbox One versions were being worked at the time. This was a year ago. So it's not a last minute decision. They decided to come back and say, you know what, we're not selling much of this. We're going to make it for PS4 and Xbox One now.
When is the old gen going to just die? Bro, just leave it behind.
You know what's funny?
It's
so fucking long,
3 years in. Just go.
Just go. Let's go, man. I mean, leave. Bro, the game is unless what's the advantage there, Asa? Why Xbox One and PS4? What good
I got
come
one,
out of it?
Yeah, go Asa.
Go on, KBG. You tell me first, and then we'll go.
No, you asked Asa. Asa, go.
Asa.
Oh, God damn. Okay, fine. So here's the thing. I can't understand Xbox One because, but I can understand PS4, and I say that because the PlayStation 4.
Pony.
Listen. No, I'm strictly speaking business here.
Pony.
PS4 sold like hotcakes. Like there's a big install base on there. So it's like if you're money grubber and you just want to make a bit more sales and you think making this port will pay itself off and then some, then I get it. I don't agree with the decision, but I get the PlayStation 4. The Xbox One, on the other hand, I feel like everybody that's still on Xbox One, like has moved on to the series, or their first console is the series. You know, like that's how I feel. But there's still a massive PS4 base out there that's for whatever reason hasn't gone to PS5. But I'm with you guys. It's been like 2 or 3 years now. That's usually about the point that we start leaving last gen behind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a weird decision, but like
can't get these games working on. Sure. They can't get these games working on current gen consoles. I mean, what did Xbox sell me on? Is the most powerful console ever made. Like they can't get these games running smoothly and consistently on the newest consoles. And obviously, I know that we're going to speak a little bit later about another topic around that. But don't focus your time and attention on a 3-year-old console cycle. Like it's gone. And I get what you mean. I don't understand Xbox One. Maybe if they said it's coming to PS4 Pro and the Xbox Elite or whatever it was called, I can't even remember.
Yeah. One X, yeah.
The One X, fucking stupid naming conventions from Microsoft.
It was pretty bad.
But maybe if they said like it's only coming to the One X and it's only coming to the PS4 Pro, I might understand that. But how are they going to get this thing? It's going to sound like a 747 taking off in your living room every time you turn the goddamn thing on. I mean, did people not see Cyberpunk? Did people not see what Cyberpunk looked like? They CDPR released an Xbox One like themed Cyberpunk console that couldn't play the game, and now they think that Jedi Survivor is going to play on it. what crack are they smoking, and can I have some? I don't get
No,
it.
you can't. I don't get it either. It's just a bit of a surprising thing. It's like, and the game, you think they'd divert all their attention to the current gen.
And I believe it sold well. I think Jedi Survivor, I thought I heard something in April where it's like, yeah, like it sold as much as this thing in its first month, whereas this thing took like 3 months to do that. And it's like, if it's selling well, then hasn't everybody already kind of bought it by now, or will buy it by the end of the year on this next console? And it's like, by the time it comes out for these lower gen ones, then are they still gonna buy it? You know, I try to think of this from strictly like a business standpoint.
I'm sure it's more money is more money, but it's more resources diverted to it. No play.
Exactly.
It is, but like at the same time, the IP is Star Wars. So they're looking at these audiences. Right. There's like 40 million PlayStation 5s. There's a lot more PlayStation 4s out in the world than that. And Star Wars probably has a reach to tap into that kind of audience. In terms of like the game itself and the technicalities, you know, you can play The Witcher on the Switch. You can play Doom on the Switch, like Doom Eternal and all of that kind of stuff. There are porting houses that are very, very good. So hopefully it'll end up being really good. You can look at it as... Like, our big hope in the whole conversation around dropping previous gen isn't really to spite the people that don't have consoles and stuff now. We just want to see development studios going all out and taking advantage of the consoles that we've got. But to all intents and purposes, nobody complained about that game being under ambitious up until the point that you heard that someone was porting it. So it's not like we've been betrayed, really. Like, people enjoyed that game, people loved it, it's there. If someone can get it working on the Xbox One, if it runs at like 15 frames per second on the Xbox One, and someone that loves Star Wars has like the superior brain power to process that and see a smooth image. This is the way I like to think of it. If you can play games at a low frame rate, you are a vastly superior human being. Like, you can just process stuff on the fly and make it look good. It's incredible talent. But you know, it's not going to be Respawn's main team that are putting the work into this. They're going to have a porting studio that's going to go and do it. It doesn't really do anyone any harm. Some Star Wars fans might enjoy the game at a lower frame rate, lower fidelity. Good for them.
I guess so. If that's the case, if it's not really going to slow down the current gen fixing of the current gen versions, then, because I'm not hearing much about anything from the studio, from Respawn, saying, hey, look, we're going to get the performance mode stable in X amount of time, or even at all. Like, I'm not hearing much of that. And that's where the frustration is coming in for a lot of people, including myself, because it's sat there on my hard drive. I can't delete it because it's a really good game, and I just want to play it. But I can't. It's
my counter. Just very quickly to you, Asa, is the consistency and quality of ports that we've had recently. I don't think that we should be holding out much hope. Last of Us PC. I don't.
That's fair.
Think
like,
it's
at the
going
same time,
to be.
though, like, I don't think it's
going to be a good port
personally, because I've got no plans to play that on an Xbox One. Not even for the interest of science. I'm not going to boot that thing up and have a look at it. And I agree with like everyone in chat. They're saying we want to cut the cord or whatever, have development be next gen only, and really take advantage of these consoles. Like, everyone is on board with that. Everyone here wants to see what these consoles can do and wants to see. It doesn't need to be a hard rule, though, because not every game needs to push technical boundaries. There's going to be loads of games that Harry's going to play on Game Pass that you can put all over the place, and that's fine as well. So it's not, and this is something that Microsoft perhaps needs to learn as a lesson. It's not necessarily one size fits all. You don't need hard and fast rules for everything. Just give us the best quality games that you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And Opalug, I'm sorry, I don't mispronounce that in chat. He says it's called Jedi Survivor as a last gen game. It does nothing that can't be done on the PS4, Xbox. So it just suffers from piss poor optimization, which I agree with. So yeah, no, it's true. Shout out to 400 people around there. Smash that like button. We haven't even got into the main saucy topics. Danny Snowick for being a member for a year. Thank you, man. He goes, good evening, gents and chat. Happy birthday, guys. Thank you, man. What are you looking forward to most at Gamescom beside meeting friends?
Starfield gameplay.
Wait, meeting. Are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to Gamescom.
Oh,
it's gonna be fun. To be honest, the highlight of that is meeting the community. That is the big highlight. And also, it's always a good opportunity to meet developers. We've got the press thing, so we get to go before the public. So just go chat to them, go to speak to developers. I always enjoy that chat. And then Aaron Greenberg and Phil Spencer there, so I can finally collect my check in person. So thank you.
Yeah, just don't get a photo with them. That is, you're not allowed to get pictures with them. You corporate shills, don't you dare.
I know, damn it. If I could just invite them to dinner like Colin Moriarty did, then I'll be okay. But
breakfast? No.
Breakfast, like, counting the plates. Count those plates, people. I'm looking forward to if Aaron Greenberg's going to be there. Phil Spencer's going to be there. Jeff Rubinstein. I don't know if anyone from Sony is. They're not going to be there, so it's a bit of a shame. Developers wise, we get to see Stalker 2. I really want to see, and the developers are there, so I want to give them a bit of a pat on the back and say, "Yo, man, guys are crazy. Let me play a game." And I want to. That's playable apparently. So Stalker 2, want to play that, and just let's just see what else they have on show. Stalker 2 is the big one because
Stalker 2 is what I'm looking forward to as well. Looks great,
and also because it looks great, but it's one of those where it can look great, might actually not be as great playing it as it looks. It's one of those. So I just want to see. I want to sample it. I want to see it. But I also want to talk to devs as well. Do some interviews as well. My interviews are fair. They're not overly going. It's like a lot of people do. I should have done that. That's been inappropriate. But you know what I mean? Like you get the interviews, and people get a bit starstruck, and they're like, and all you can hear is their gag reflex. And I think we don't do that. GameOnDaily's never done that. When we did do interviews a long time ago, we were pretty. It's very media type attitude. So, and not to be difficult as well. I'm not going to be like Jason trying to go, actually, but I don't want to piss him off. It's just going to be good interviews. I want to get you good content as well. So to ask the hard questions or the salient questions or just appropriate questions just to get that. If I can do that, that'd be great. Just have fun. I can't wait. You're going to be there. So I can't wait to see you. And anyone who's going Gamescom, just do let me know. And we will get lit, go to a strip club and just have fun. Carver Alvarado with a $2 super chat. Evo announced Iron Galaxy's updating this Killer Instinct thing.
Yes.
Get into that now. Killer Instinct, man. Like, they are also they're updating the game for Series A. Is there hope, KPG? Can it be? Are they testing waters? Is there going to be a Killer Instinct 4? Talk to me.
I think I forget who we were on the show with, but I think it was for last year's showcase. You had me on to predict, what would be at the Xbox show and everything. And I was saying, one of the things I really hope to see, not because I'm a Killer Instinct fan, but just because I want to see people get what they want, is a Killer Instinct sequel. Because there's a movement for it and everything. People are raving about it. And there's just a lot of people legit want it. And it was almost 10 years at that point, and we keep on not getting it. So I love it. This is the first acknowledgement of just something. That's what I've been telling people. It's something. My roommate is way more he adores Killer Instinct, and he's with the community hoping that there's a sequel. And I showed him the news this morning, and he's like, "This is good."
Iron Galaxy exists. The talent is there. So enough to do something. So that was the sticking point. If they don't
the tricky thing, well, because they worked on the game previously. Yeah. And so what just for recap, if people don't know, basically what they're saying is, we're gonna make the 4K version of this game, improve matchmaking, which again, my roommate can vouch for things much more than me. He's like, that's funny they said improve matchmaking because the matchmaking's already kind of fire. So I don't know what they mean by that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much more support for the game, more technical support and stuff. So, but the guy that's the head of the Killer Instinct team or whatever, he's like, so this is our beginning of commitment for thank you guys for the past 10 years because this is for their 10-year anniversary. This is the start of our next 10 years.
Yeah.
Hold the frick on. What do you mean by that? Are you going to update this game for the next 10 years? Or is there actual content that you have in mind, a sequel or spinoff? What? So I'm very curious what
Microsoft have a really good track record with saying their games are going to last 10 years, don't they, Gaz? So
that's true.
Yourself, Harry. Why'd you bring Halo Infinite up? Why? What?
True.
I'm not allowed to talk about it. I'm sorry.
We're not allowed to talk about it. No, but
isn't that crazy though? Just like breaking things for a second. I'm like, was 2013 really 10 years ago?
No, it wasn't. It was 5 years ago because COVID doesn't count. So none of this last 4 years counts. I
listened to the speech and I'm like, really?
Bro, it happens all the time. Like now, I'm like, it's going like this. Boom, boom, flash, old, flash, dead. Just. But when he did come on stage and he did say that thing, but he also like suggested what he was talking about was like we only had like one character per season, and all of a sudden we've had all these characters in the season, and that's like, well, what are you going to do for the next 10 years? You can't just keep refining it. No one's going to care about new characters or what. I think even though Killer Instinct is a competent, really good fighter that could justifiably add more to the roster and build upon a great game, in order to be truly, really successful, it almost needs a relaunch in the vein of a sequel on series consoles. I don't think enough people played it on the Xbox One. That's the problem. Whether or not they will play it, the Killer Instinct 4, I don't know, but that media hype, the whole bring it to current gen. There's a lot you can do with Killer Instinct. I definitely think they should have a sequel, but I think it'll be.
So I'm not a huge fighting game fan. Obviously, I played MK11 because you told me to, and like I just suck at fighting games. But I think if Killer Instinct comes back, I think that it should be multiplat, and I genuinely think that it would do really well as a marketing tool if it went PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Why?
Because
why do the ponies get to talk Killer Instinct? I
genuinely think that there aren't enough. I don't think there are enough fighting game fans purely on the Xbox console for it to do as well as it deserves to. And I think opening it up and doing what Phil said and saying we want anyone to play our games, blah blah blah. I think it'd be a very good move to go multi-plat with Killer Instinct. I'm sorry to the chat. I'm sorry, Gaz. Acer, I know you don't care. But yeah, I think that would be their best move, is to go multi-plat and to open it up to everyone. And I'm always right about everything. So I will just sit here quietly now while the chat goes off and calls me an idiot.
Mr. Foom, Isla Magonads deleted your chat, but I will read it out. Sony users don't deserve shit. Fact! Sorry, Isla, don't stifle my console warring. Yeah, look, joking aside, it might be healthy for Killer Instinct. You may be right, but Microsoft needs to stand on its own 2 feet and build an identity for itself. Xbox guys need to back Killer Instinct. I don't want this to be multi-plat. Yeah, am I being a petty person? Perhaps. But it's nice to see that kind of competition and exclusive that's just on Xbox. It just reinvigorates the scene. I don't want it to be multi-plat. Unless
I don't think it will be multi-plat. I just think that if they want to broaden it out and if they want to do stuff like going to Evo and like being like a big global phenomenon, I just don't think that it can do that with Xbox purely because I don't think the market is there.
Let them freaking buy the Series S, blood. Come on, man. They can do it via YouTube? What?
Via YouTube?
Thank you, Silent Cypher, for that.
Same way as Starfield, yeah. Just press that play button.
Give Harry the boot, says Scorpio.
Hey, again, I'm not that bad.
Hoggy Chat, even the $5 because Killer Instinct should stay Xbox and PC. You know that platform has hundreds of millions of players. Biggest fighting game is exclusive, and that's Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers, man. I haven't played that in a while.
Very good point.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll tell you what, Hoggy, I will concede to you that that's a really good point, and I forgot Smash Brothers exists. And it basically destroys my entire argument. So yeah, it should just launch for Xbox and the Nintendo Switch. Yes, that's what it should do.
Actually, that's actually not a bad point. I'll be okay with that.
Hey, it might finally bring Game Pass to Nintendo, like everyone thought would happen 2 years ago. So who knows?
The Trojan horse. Alvin, thank you for the $2 super stickers. Put Killer Instinct on Xbox, PC, and Switch, not PlayStation. We just talked about that. But yeah, hey, that's a good shout. Carlos with the $2 super chat. Thank you. Goes, Street Fighter 5 sealed to PlayStation 4. That ended poorly. Multiplayer. That's also on the counter. It's even Street Fighter 5. Although Street Fighter 5 had issues. I will say that. It had issues. Bare bone
terrible sync. It had terrible sync issues, didn't it, on launch as well?
Online netcode was crap, which is stark contrast to 6, which is incredible. I haven't played that in a while, man. I just want to go back into it, but now the players must be insane in that game. That's the problem with these kind of games online. But yeah, Killer Instinct, just Xbox, don't even kumbaya that. I'll be pissed. The bot in me would be pissed, but not so pissed if it means the only way Killer Instinct can come back. Issa, you have now sampled fighting games. You've actually, Street Fighter 6 has rekindled your love for fighting games. Would you be interested in Killer Instinct?
I always talk about Killer Instinct when we're talking about fighting games that I do and don't like. Killer Instinct is always on the list of things that I reckon I would really, really like, but I've never taken the time to quite get into it to understand the mechanics that it's got there. But I kind of love it from a distance. I love what it does with music. Like the Killer Instinct that exists from 2013 is just a phenomenal experience. The way that the combos time in and the music ramps up as you're doing it and all the rest of it. My only question and doubt, and even the stuff that came after him though, they kept that going and it's just brilliant. Yep. It's weird that Iron Galaxy are coming back for the 4K update because you can play Killer Instinct on 4K on a PC today if you want to. So that seems fairly minimal work required to do that, which means there has to be more to this than just a 4K update. So I'm very curious to see what it looks like. I am going to give it a go. I'm going to try and learn the mechanics. My concern with Killer Instinct is when you see these ultra combos, these like 100 and something move combos, I'm definitely not going to be that player. I'll be the player on the other end of it, and I don't know how interesting that's going to be to just like see it and watch myself get hit 112 times. And I don't because I don't have. No, it's not that. It's just when you're on the end of it, that seems like that would just be a kind of shit experience. And I don't know, because I haven't played it, I don't know if you get opportunities within that 112 moves to actually do anything. If you're actually playing the game anymore, or if it's like, well, that's started, I might as well go and make a cup of tea or something.
No, it's a very clever, very basic, actually, mechanic that was similar to what you kind of, rock, paper, scissors, Street Fighter 6 thing that you liked. It's very similar with the combo breaker. It's actually even more simple. Killer Instinct is a much more that you said.
Combo breaker, those are the words that are they're the most famous words from it, but I don't know how the mechanic works once you're under it.
It's actually really simple. I'm trying to remember, but even doing one thing I hated about Killer Instinct is reset my ranked stats. I was so fucking pissed. I had such a 90% win on ranked, that had a really good rank and a Saber Wolf, and they just for no reason reset. I was so pissed. To this day, it annoys me. I have such good stats on it. But I think you'd really enjoy it. I think it's really, really, really just simple. And just you can button mash and do it. But it's not button mashing. It's weird. It's a very unique fighting system. I think you'd really like it. It will take you just maybe a couple of hours to even suss out the mechanics and start doing things. It's just really, really accessible. But if you master it, you'll be very good at it. I haven't played it with a new roster. I think you'll like it. Be interesting.
I think
if you have the time, try it. It's really good. This Killer Instinct might be coming back. Xbox doesn't need a fighting game, and it's suite of Game Pass games and first-party studios. We've always talked about this on the show that getting fighting game talent is really hard. So the fact that he even got Iron Galaxy back seems to suggest that one, the talent is there, and two, there's an appetite to explore Killer Instinct. After all, you had a movement, you had a lot of people very interested and invested into this IP. So Xbox cannot be oblivious to that or ignore it. So Killer Instinct would be one of those big marketing beats as well. That big one other movement, in the showcase. When Killer Instinct got revealed for the Xbox One, I still remember Maximilian's reaction. The music comes in. He goes, "What the hell is this?" And he goes, "Fuck!" That reaction video of Maximilian, dude. I've watched that guy's reaction maybe 30, 40 times. I'll do it once a year. Just go watch it again as well. even today. It's just really good. So yeah, hopefully that comes back. Killer Instinct coming back would be big. It would be big. Shout out to 431 of you. Bam! Smash the like button. Next topic. Baldur's Gate 3. Face! You waited patiently to console war, and here it comes. Face. Before I read your chat, though, Carlos Alvarado super chatted. Sorry, Face. Halo, Gears, and Killer Instinct. No games out there like it. All three are pretty unique. I do agree. And that coming back would just solidify Xbox alongside all the other incredible IPs that Xbox has coming this gen that we need to. It's so diverse as well. Phrase 23 Brooklyn, New York with the $20 super chat. Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 has jumped to the number 2 best-selling pre-order on PlayStation PSN. Looks like since Starfield is not on PlayStation, Baldur's Gate 3 will get more sales and attention for being a timed exclusive because of the Series S. Essentially, nothing wrong with what you've said there, because the Series S is preventing Baldur's Gate 3 for launching on the Series consoles at the same time as PlayStation. It's out on PC now. And Baldur's Gate 3, the review embargo is lifted, but I think it's quite a late review embargo. And we've only had about a handful of reviews on Metacritic and out there in the wild. Right. But already we're seeing Game of the Gen contender talk. We're also seeing talks about this being one of the best RPGs ever made. And Baldur's Gate, Asa was talking about it, and then reprimanding me for God knows what reason for agreeing with him in privately in WhatsApp. Yeah. You say Baldur's Gate might have a higher Metacritic score than Starfield, which will definitely be weaponized. Asa was saying this 3-4 weeks ago, longer maybe, on the show, and it might end up being that way. Now, there's a few things to unpack here. Baldur's Gate is being weaponized by a lot of people, and PlayStation fans do not get the benefit of Starfield. But Baldur's Gate 3 is not necessarily an alternative, but it's still an RPG. I question how many PlayStation guys will actually play it or enjoy it, because it's not a sad dad simulator with loads of cinematics. Well, I have cinematics, but it's like turn-based combat. I haven't played Baldur's Gate ever before, and I watched the gameplay, and the cutscenes looked really cool. But I looked at the gameplay, and I'll be honest, it kind of reminded me of why I never played KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, because at the time that was like, the turn-based stuff. The way that combat was, this didn't entice me. What the hell is this? Is a porn game. This
is the release trailer. I don't know why it's got such an emphasis on that. Yes.
There's so much ass.
You can have sex.
They're selling to that PC player base.
I'm just getting distracted. My ADHD is like, what? They're just probably getting on with each other. And the next scene is a squirrel watching them, just getting, what is this?
Just watching them.
Then bears can have
chat. Who knows what this is? Menacingly. Okay.
I don't think a lot of people realize that Baldur's Gate is the closest that you'll get to Dungeons and Dragons on console.
Yeah.
I'm a big D&D fan. I love D&D. I've been playing it for
nerd.
God, I'm really old now. I've been playing it for nearly 20 years. I started when I was 12 years old. And Baldur's Gate for me, I am so hyped for it because it looks like the D&D game that I've always wanted to play, that Divinity Original Sin 2 didn't quite scratch the itch for me. I get that it's not going to be for everyone. I think the reason that it's doing so well on the PC is that I think Diablo 4 might have had something to do with it, where people can see the promise of Diablo 4, but maybe not quite the execution that they were hoping for, because I know that a lot of the Diablo fan base are very, very pissed off with that game. And I think that they're seeing... I don't think that this will rival Starfield, because they are two completely separate games.
Yeah.
That it's just, they're not even close in terms of the scope between them. Because they just...
games.
They are completely different games.
And different games, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that there's competition between these two games because it's very strange for me because I didn't think that Sony wanted to launch their first-party exclusives onto PC straight away. And all I've heard for the last few days is that this is a first-party exclusive for Sony. What's it doing on the PC before it's on the PS5, you know? But it's, for me, like, once this comes out on Xbox, that's going to be my 2024 done. I don't think it will do as well on consoles as it will do on PC because they're very different markets. I think that it's going to do well on console. I think it's going to sell very well on PlayStation. I don't think that the pre-order sales are anything to do with console warring. I think people have just seen something that's different, that's breaking the mold from traditional AAA games. They've openly said there's no microtransactions. There's no DLC content that's going to be paid at the moment. There's no pay to win. And I love Diablo 4. I think it's absolutely incredible. But that game is egregious with it wanting you to buy stuff. And I remember speaking to Jez Corden about this a while ago when Diablo Immortal came out. And we both agreed that Immortal was like the touching stone to see like how much shit they can get away with, where Diablo 4 would be a brilliant game, but it would be littered with nonsense. And I think that Baldur's Gate has come out right at the opportune moment where lots of people are pissed off with season 1 of D4. They've seen a game that's had lots of time and effort put into it. There's the bear sex stuff I know is funny, but like the way that the game operates gives players a way to play that they might not be used to. And I think a lot of things have just all come together at once to make this a monolith of a game I think it's going to steamroll everything this year. I think it's going to steamroll Starfield. I think it's going to steamroll Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's going to steamroll
in what way?
Spider-Man
like
2.
Sales? Like what?
Reviews, sales, longevity. I think this is going to be a game that people talk about for years and years and years to come. Because it's just at the right moment.
Despite the sales, in terms of noise, I think
people said the same about Elden Ring. People said the exact same thing about Elden Ring, and I don't like Elden Ring personally because I'm not a Soulsborne fan.
I'm doubtful.
But Elden Ring came in at a time where people were used to games that held your hand and showed you a map marker and showed you exactly where to go, and hard wasn't something people liked to talk about, and everyone used to talk about easy modes. And then Elden Ring came out and just shattered everyone's expectations, outsold everything, and was just like, we're here to stay. And I think Baldur's Gate is going to have the same impact that Elden Ring had, where it just steamrolls everything in front of it and just picks up God knows how many awards.
Let me jump in on this because I'm with you guys. I don't think that's going to happen personally, but like to Harry's point here, I don't know if we're mentioning this, but people brought up like that Baldur's Gate 3 is now at like it like reached a 500,000 peak.
650,000 people were playing it 3 hours ago.
Which like the only games I guess on Steam that ever reached that was like Dota and CS:GO. You know, so that's an achievement right there. Like that many people playing a game all at once. That's a big deal.
It is for the PC crowd. Whether or not you'll see that kind of engagement. See, Elden Ring is still a third-person kind of combat-based game. I don't see a CRPG on consoles having that kind of noise. I don't know. Cunt RPG. I could get us demonetized. Shouldn't really say that. What was it? I forgot. We asked this question last time with Mav. What did you say? Core role-playing game? No.
I don't know.
I don't know what the answer is. I asked that like genuinely. I don't know what the answer is because I know like tactical RPG.
Computer
RPG. That's a terrible acronym. I don't like it initially.
Classic RPG.
Classic.
Computer RPG?
Computer is what everyone's saying there. I don't like that as a genre because all of the RPGs that I play are computer RPGs, so you can shove that up your ass and we'll go with something else. Somebody think of a better C than computer.
Let me give a take here. So first off, just in regards to this whole like, you know, so it's not coming to Xbox until 2024. Like that's the main thing I just want to bring up is we were talking earlier about like how Jedi Survivor, you know, that's being ported to these previous systems, and we'll see like how the hell that does. And And there's been all this talk about like, is the Series S holding developers back in shenanigans? And this conversation, I feel like this has been the thing that's been leading that conversation for the past year or two. And then some developers hop on and go, no, that's not a problem for us. And then there's a couple that, jump on the bandwagon, whether I'm sure there's some basis to it, but it sounds like, we have the Xbox version ready to go. We just can't get split screen working. You know who you have on your
bad look.
Yeah, but you know who you have on your channel today is a very big Halo fan, and there was a feature that didn't make it into Halo Infinite that they promised, which was split screen. And they decided to just cut that out because they just couldn't get it to work or whatever. And the truth probably is that they couldn't figure out how to get it to work on anything but like a Series S or an X. But they know they have to make it work on an Xbox One, or they have to make it work on the Series S. And I think it's interesting that the same exact issue is being brought up by, Larian Studios or whatever. We just can't get split screen to work. So
I think the funny thing is, I thought some people got the VCR Xbox to run Halo Infinite split screen. Like some people managed to.
Oh yeah, they can glitch into it. Yeah, they can glitch into it.
It didn't run well though.
It
looked like
and there would be
trash.
considerations there. And I do think, like some people say, who gives a shit about split screen? I mean, it's a big L, but
I do. Big time.
I think it's an L, definitely an L. I do think this is the outlier, though. I do think like split screen is like quite, I don't know. If we were going to talk about this idea of parity, because parity is, and the policy of Microsoft to ensure parity between the Series S and Series X is the reason why we're not getting Baldur's Gate. Really, split screen is the one thing where I could say, I'd say just drop the split screen on the Series S. But at the same time, it's a slippery slope. For
it's a mandate. Like they literally require every game release.
I can understand
has to be exactly the same as So,
but it is an L for the Series S, a console that's a 1440p machine that still, not only is flagship title most likely speculative, but sure. But with a game that's going to be a classic RPG that has, if Harry, you're correct, is going to be very big and in a very competitive year, game of the year contender for sure. And Xbox doesn't get it because of its hardware. On the base point, irrespective of whether or not you think split screen is redundant, it is such a gigantic slap in the face of Xbox that rallied behind the power narrative that this is happening. Outlier or not, it is embarrassing for Xbox.
There's something that the split screen, I know that a lot of people don't play split screen this day. Like, I get that that's not a big deal to a lot of people, but for me, my memories of Halo, very early doors, were playing Halo with my friends split screen. That was a big deal. Yeah. And then personally, what I wanted to do with Halo Infinite is in a couple of years' time, when my little boy, he's 4 at the moment, when he's like 7 or 8 years old, I wanted to play split screen to like do that together and have like a journey where we both play Halo. I can do it in MCC, but I can't do that in Halo Infinite. And what I get that split screen is not a huge deal, but for someone like me who plays Dungeons and Dragons, multiplayer, you can't play Dungeons and Dragons on your own. And one of the joys of D&D is being with people in the same room and interacting and having fun with it. And I think that for Larian, split screen is a core facet of this game. They can't just cut it, because if you enjoy D&D and if you are going to be playing Baldur's Gate 3, I know that for me, if I had a PS5, I'd have had it pre-ordered. If I had a PC that could run it properly, I would be inviting people over to have like a Baldur's Gate session where once a month they come around, we do a campaign for 5 hours, 2 weeks later, we continue off where we are. This game is Dungeons and Dragons, basically, and people do that. They spend years and years and years playing a campaign, all in the same room, around the same table, and Larian want to make the closest thing that they can to a tabletop RPG on your console or your PC. You can't just cut split screen from that. And it's very clear that the Series S just doesn't cut it. And I'm a big defender of the Series S, but Microsoft have backed themselves into a very difficult corner with this console.
It's an Xbox L. It's their Series S is great or not, but even if this is outlier, even though this, as the gen progresses, it may not become an issue. Right now, at present, it doesn't look great for Xbox. So if you guys are saying the devs are being lazy, that's such a silly.
They're not, and especially when Xbox are releasing a new Series S in the not too distant future. And they're definitely doubling down on this little console. Yeah. And we've now got, two developers in the last week saying, like, we have limitations. I remember the game the Medium that came out early in the console generation, and I played that on my Series X, and I don't know if people have played it, but it's like a split screen the entire game. You go into like an underworld and you play as two characters simultaneously, and it was very taxing on the Series X. And I remember watching someone play it on the Series S, and that game played like dog shit on the Series S, but it was still playable, but in a very poor state. And what happened is the Medium got harshly reviewed because of the technical quality of the game running nowhere near a smooth 30, having difficulty with loading screens, not being the next gen game that people were promised. And then people turn around and blamed, was it Bloober Studio that did the Medium? I think it was. Blamed Bloober for like, well, you're obviously lazy devs and you don't know what you're doing because look how good this game looks on it. But it's obvious that there's something to do with split screen that the Series S is causing serious limitations to.
The RAM limitation that's a problem. And
this started early in the console generation with the Medium. Even then, straight away, there was a game that like launched on Game Pass, played like dog shit, like really poorly. I enjoyed it, but it was technically not great.
On the point of lazy devs, we had Remedy's dev, who actually incidentally also was the first, Thomas Puha, who talked about this.
It's not incidental. It's just like, it's significant who it is. So when you talk about detractors for the Series S, there's basically been that guy. Yep. That's it.
And he is, that is true though. Thomas Puha has been right from the get-go, right at the start of the gen. He was very dismissive about it. He talked about that. He actually divulged the big reason why the Series X is struggling is because Microsoft opted to get this new GDK. He is one of the actual main developers you can hold on to if you go back to listen to IGN's thing. Because PlayStation went with something familiar. Everyone knows how it's going to be done. Xbox tried to move into this GDK. So there's that argument for Xbox fans, whether or not that actually helps anything anyway, because the results are not there. But what he also did say at the same time was the Series S, he did not like it because this is extra work. And in the light of this, he tweeted this. He said, I feel Larian's pain on the Series S. It's not about just optimize at the end. Lol, nah. You have to take into account the technical limitations from the beginning of development. Nobody really wants to think of that when you start making your games when everything is possible. Now, Asa, on that tweet, when we talked about this last week, you were saying that you don't think Series S is a problem because the PC is the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, well, in many ways, yeah. So Larian they seem to be genuinely like thoroughly nice developers. The reputation that CD Projekt Red used to have, where it's like they're going to do the right thing by gamers and they become fan favorites because they are not putting microtransactions in. They're putting so much work in and they are delivering exactly what people want. I agree with you, Harry, by the way. I was glad you said that stuff about Dungeons and Dragons because there's an awful lot of people that are like, who plays couch co-op anymore? Who plays split screen anymore? But you have to understand what this game is. It is Dungeons and Dragons that you can play for freaking hundreds of hours, and it is best played with other people. It is very difficult for grown-ups to schedule a game like that. Like to find someone that you can spend hundreds of hours to play with, your most likely bet there is like a significant other. So being able to play it at home on console is a massive feature on that game. It matters. It matters to Larian, and you want developers to be able to focus on what matters to them. That's how we get the best games. So I'm glad that they're doing it. The only thing that I find a little bit strange on the Microsoft Larian front is obviously Microsoft have got this rule with regards to parity, and I think the Series S is going to do split screen on this game when enough work has been put into it. But there's obviously been like no flex at all, and I don't know how much desire there is to actually flex on that. I don't know if Larian want Microsoft to be like, yeah, we'll try and get this out on Starfield Day, because actually it's quite a convenient arrangement for them to do it a bit later on. It will work on the Series S. That is going to happen. It is an important feature. I do think it's going to get toned down. But what you said about this Thomas fella, so I get the impression that people think loads of developers have come out speaking up against the Series S, and really what you've got is Larian, who are very upfront saying like, we just need a bit more time, and this one guy who said at the start of the generation that he didn't like it. And then has come back with like little glasses and a fake mustache going, yeah, that Series S is a problem. And it's like, but you are the same guy. So I'm not sure the problem is as big as some people make it out to be.
I do think like you're, as always, you really do hit the nail on the head there and give perspective on the issue. I do think it's in the short term, the optics of it look bad. I do think it's an outlier and a split screen, a feature that is waning, but with like Harry quite really well put out, even for me to understand that this is a game, Dungeons and Dragons couch co-op. It needs to happen. It's the same people who are repeating the narrative. Thomas Miller was there right at the start. He's there again. He's like, and that's fine. But ultimately, the PC is still the lowest common denominator. It is that there. I also think it's a great point that you made, and it ties into what Mike super chatted earlier as well. It may be a case of convenience. I do think Starfield will be eclipsing this game. A second launch or a delayed launch will be another potential PR kind of drive for Larian as well. I mean, how you've got the biggest console, the PlayStation 5. Apparently, according to Mike, thank you for the $10 super chat, because Larian has a marketing deal with Sony and announced a PlayStation 5 launch. Announced a PS5 launch a month after Stadia died and Google partnership ended. The Series S is just a scapegoat to prioritize PlayStation. Now that's strongly worded. What do you think of that, by the way, before I put words in your mouth?
I don't buy it whatsoever. I don't buy it at all.
But the marketing deal is not insignificant.
A marketing deal matters, but to say that things are being done around this marketing deal and nobody dares speak up and say this is a marketing deal, I think there would probably be some significant legal issues if that conspiracy theory was true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it. So the marketing deal is one facet of it. The fact that they haven't, maybe the balance of convenience lies with them. They, Series S, release it a year later, just haven't got time. Starfield's coming out, makes sense. I'm not saying they're lying about the Series S being a problem. It does take time. Microsoft may not have been pushing hard as well and sending their devs in. There's a lot there. I wouldn't use this to be. It's still a bad look. I maintain everything I said earlier. It's a bad look for the Series S that even enables an excuse like this.
So what surprises me a little bit, though, I'll just say really quickly on that, though, is if Microsoft wanted Larian to be able to release this game and they wanted to enforce their parity agreement between the Series S and the Series X, they do have an early access program, and Baldur's Gate has been in early access for like 3 years. So if they wanted to make something happen with Larian, then there were options to be explored, I think. I don't know if the marketing agreement perhaps prohibited early access on other consoles or something like that, but they could have done something where like they work around, like this is still a genuine policy for Xbox Series X and Series S. You have to have the same features, but this is an early access game and certain things are going to be delivered later. They probably could have if they wanted to.
Okay. Well, it is what it is. PlayStation guys, you get to play this game. You better be buying it. But the PSN numbers seem like hold true. Are still disagree with you, Harry, on the impact of it, but I may be wrong. Well, let's see. JD Gamer with a $10 super chat. Shout out to you, man. He goes, the devs are not being lazy. The Xbox Series X only has 2 GB of RAM dedicated to the CPU portion of its chipset, and that's the issue with split screen because it's not a graphical scaling issue. He also super chats later. It says JD says not to mention the minimum PC specs is 4 GB CPU for CPU RAM and 4 GB for GPU RAM. The Series S is fine for the graphical scaling, but screen complexity is an issue. That sounds accurate to me. I'm not a technical bod, but it sounds right. It's the RAM issue and split screen.
Yeah, I literally checked just prior to jumping on, like, can I play this? And shoved in all my like laptop stats, and the one thing that it came back on was VRAM. I've got 2 GB, minimum is 4. Series S, exactly the same. That seems to be the issue. Also, just to very quickly go back to Dungeons and Dragons and Stranger Things made that game cool. Stranger Things made it cool again, and I think that Baldur's Gate is going to be the game of the year, and that's all I'm going to say.
Lucius Augustus says Series S has 10 gigs of VRAM. I don't know. Asa, what is shit, man?
I've only been half following this conversation. Do you know what's really interesting about Baldur's Gate 3? Not really interesting, but quite neat. Over 17,000 different endings. Like, this is the kind of RPG that we're talking about here. This is not like other games. You have so much freedom in how you can influence how that game plays out and what you can do within it.
I don't know.
Are these meaningful endings?
Oh, you have to get all of them to get the platinum trophy. It's just a lot of freedom. You can genuinely do all sorts of things. Yeah, go on.
To go off of what you just said, is like that bear sex scene. They did like a live stream of the game where the audience got to
the end.
The audience got to decide where the narrative went. So that bear sex scene, that doesn't happen to everyone. That's just like one outcome of dice rolls and of conversations that you have. And like, if you play D&D, you'll have had those situations where something ridiculous has happened just through chance, and it will never have happened to anyone else. So when I was in a campaign years ago, I failed a saving throw on someone casting a spell, but the DM didn't tell me what it was because I didn't roll high enough. I rolled a critical fail as a 1. He didn't tell me what it was, and I had to work out what had happened to me through like the impact that I then had on the game. It turned out that all my actions were mirrored. The way to solve it was I had to like cast a spell in a mirror. It took me 3 sessions.
Receded into my abdomen.
It took me like 3 sessions to work that out.
Sounds so not my game.
That's the sort of like level of freedom that Baldur's Gate has, is that every single person that's playing it will have their own unique experience. And how often are we told by people like Peter Molyneux, everything that you do will have an impact on everything in every single facet of the game? Well, in Baldur's Gate 3, we've sort of got that. And if people have played Divinity, they'll know like where this game will go. Yeah. But Baldur's Gate has so many branches that go off that you can have 2 people doing the exact same thing that might not even get to the same place, purely based on like the RNG of dice roll. So I think that it's going to do well based on the complete flexibility of what you can do. Like with Starfield, it's going to say you can do this, you can do that, you can go to all these different planets. It's probably going to have like 20 endings.
It's funny you mentioned Starfield because 17 just super chat that as well. What do you think about this, Harry? He says 17,000 endings on BG3, Baldur's Gate 3, yet people criticize Starfield for having 1,000 planets to explore.
They're 2 very different games, though.
I mean, putting perspective, 17,000. I question how meaningful those endings are. But if you say, whatever, I'll take that on point. 1,000 planets, QBG on Starfield. What is wrong with that? Like, what is first people complained, only a few of these Goldilocks planets have life. Only 100 planets have life on them. How many fucking planets do you want to have life on it? Like, we haven't even found life with all this. I watched a great documentary on Netflix, by the way, on the Hubble telescope. The new one, whatever.
The James Webb. Yes, I watched that.
You watched
Very
that. That's
good.
crazy.
Very
That's
good.
crazy. All these error points, and then it fucking it's crazy. We still haven't found life. But you guys are going to complain about 1,000 planets to explore. And say, oh, it's procedurally generated. Shut the I hate the stupidity of... KBG, sorry, I forgot. What are you talking about? Just... I'll shut up.
I mean, I don't know. You're just bringing up the procedural thing in comparison to the endings. Like, just...
I mean, in a way, Silent Cypher, and they're very different. Endings, whatever. But
yeah, well, because the endings, like, who knows? It literally, I see things say that all the time, and it could, and with the way D&D works, it absolutely could be accurate. Like, I've heard that this game maybe has more cutscenes than any other game in history or whatever, and the and maybe like
74 hours.
I thought I heard like 74,000 hours or something, but anyways, but like
crazy number.
Maybe you just have like a different outfit at the end of 1,000 of them, and then there's like this version. It could be something simple like that. So maybe there's who knows if they're all meaningful. But the planets thing, I think the reason people bring that up in comparison is like that. How do I put this? What was the game? Just Cause 2. Just Cause 2 was like the biggest open world game I had ever played in my life at the time when I played it. But boy, I did not care to explore that game whatsoever because of how just empty the environment felt and just nothing really, no reason to do so and everything. And I think that's what people would be worried about is like...
It's the same as Fuel. Do you remember that game from a few years ago?
Yeah. So like...
Yeah, it was like a racing game that the map was like bigger than like the state of Georgia or the state of Utah. And it would literally take...
Which size is cool. It's like that's neat, but and you know, I saw this video of comparing like what are the biggest open world games ever, and people brought up San Andreas is technically bigger than any other previous GTA game. But if you look at San Andreas, there was like barely anything in that world, and I think that's what people are worried about. It's just
I think people are. I mean, I haven't played the game obviously, but I think people have the wrong idea there, because with Starfield, all you need to do is have a core story mode, which it does. Yeah. And these supplementary planets that you have, if you want to get into the base building and stuff, and that's fine. The whole intrigue about space, the whole appeal about space is going to...
What's out
there? The whole reason why Interstellar was so amazing was when they landed on that planet, that water planet, and freaking wave was like, God, it was like so high. You want to see, if you saw the 45... Then this is another thing. So now on social media, everyone's like, where's the demo for Starfield? Where's the demo for Starfield? How do you do a demo for Starfield?
Can we talk about this? Is that a topic? Can we please talk about this?
Not just KBG. Everyone is crying about the fact that, and Face with the $2 super goes, has Starfield gone gold yet?
Yeah.
And everyone is crying about trying to scaremonger about this game. But for the life of me, explain to me how at Gamescom, which I've been to, you're going to queue up for 3 hours, go in there. What are you going to play in a demo? What are you going to play? Explain to me how the demo would work. Keep go for it. This whole demo thing.
There's no demo that could do it. If it's a true RPG, you can't like a true RPG at least. I'm not talking about like an action RPG or anything like that where you're just kind of demoing. Like I got to demo my most anticipated game ever, which was Kingdom Hearts 3. That is a JRPG, but that is not like a true RPG where your decisions matter and it could change what happens and the characters and everything.
Yeah,
that is not something you can demo. Like that's something that you literally need a day to demo, like a full on session, because you need to see what your decisions will cause, you know? So that's one point. Like, but if they did, just hypothetically, what could we let them play in 15 minutes that could sell this game? I guess, I don't know, make sure you let them choose something, because I guess that's the only choice they're going to be able to make. But like, let them choose, oh, do you want an action thing? Do you want to have a dialogue moment? Or do you want to fly or something? Maybe let them choose which demo they want to do. I guess that would make sense. You know, maybe they prepare 3 different ones and then, you know, they get to choose whichever one they want to do.
It's so hard to curate a demo for a game like this. You'd spend a day, 45 minutes just doing the character creator, then the character class type.
No, you can't allow them to do that.
Then you got the space shipbuilding. Then you got the base building. Then you got the RPG element. The whole point about this game is exploration. I just can't see how you could do that in a demo.
Do you think that the shooting elements aren't going to be fun? Do you think it's not
that's what I mean.
Like
that could have been a choice, you know, but
that would be if you're a developer, right? And the shooting elements is all that you've displayed to this game. Now, Bethesda's games are unknown for their combat being that good. The combat looks really proficient for a Bethesda title. But if you're given a vertical slice of just that combat for Starfield, that's going to do the game a massive disservice. Everyone's combat is going to be like, oh, like it seemed pretty generic, or shoot some aliens and that's it.
If they told you that was Starfield,
maybe
it was playable,
like...
you could just do a shooting mission, like you could run around a space with shooting people. Would you queue up to play it?
I would queue up to freaking create the character because I'm so.
Maybe it'll be like WarioWare. It could be like WarioWare, where you play like 5 seconds of one thing, and then you're on to the next little bit, and then 5 seconds of that, and you're on to the next bit.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Just keeps running it.
Pull the booger out nose, boom, next game.
Well, do you remember when you were a kid and you used to play that game where you would draw the head and you'd fold a bit of paper over and you pass it to the next person, they would draw the body. Like it could just be that, like everyone character creates, and then you play 5 minutes and you choose the first dialogue option. Oh, my time's run out, and then the next person, and then over the space of a day, they've here's the cumulative effects of 9,000 people playing 17 seconds of Starfield. There's no way you can demo this.
So, and I also see like Green Goblin, who brought up a couple good points, and he's like, it's just wasting the developer's time. Like, yeah, that's another thing. Like they know, first off, this is probably the most pressure-filled Bethesda release ever, you know? So they probably want just do everything you can. Like, we cannot have another Redfall situation with our first big Xbox exclusive from you guys. And this is like a Todd Howard thing. We don't want you to waste a second. And, you know, what people aren't talking about is part of their Gamescom thing, which, by the way, I heard more about this morning, like their Gamescom setup. Holy shit, it's crazy. I'm so happy to go there.
Huge,
but
it's gonna be mad.
Yeah, there's so much there. It's crazy. But one of the parts there is they have a 300-seater theater. I didn't intend for that to rhyme. That people are going to watch like presentations for Forza Motorsport and Starfield, and I think something else. But they're going to be able to watch presentations there every day. And so you probably maybe it's part of like a schedule, where I was part of something like that at PAX West, where I think it was the year Gears of War 4 was coming out, or the year after. And it was like they wanted to showcase how the 1X looked. And so they had like a special theater room, whatever, that they could show, like, this is what it looks like in 4K, yada, yada. They want to try to impress us just on the visuals alone. But this is more of like an actual presentation theater. They do this shit all the time. Like, I saw one for like Monster Hunter World, I think, when that game was coming out. And that's a better experience to showcase the kind of things you will experience in this game, because you can't experience it in like minutes. We have to, like, unfortunately, you know, if you want to get hands-on with it, I understand. But it's going to be really hard for you to experience this, even if we gave you like a full hour.
Absolutely.
And they need the time to just work on the game and just make sure it's going to work great. The demo that they're going to play is not going to be the final version either. So they're going to have to disclaim that and be like, oh,
yeah, it's stupid. Yeah. It's stupid.
Another thing Sorry, I was just going to say, another thing to bear in mind is like a big point of Bethesda RPGs is the first hour is always a big set piece. If you look at New Vegas, you look at Fallout 3, Fallout 4, look at Skyrim, look at Oblivion, like a big thing happens. Now imagine if you were playing a demo of Skyrim and it doesn't include the character creation, but it ruined that first dragon dropping down into Helgen. Imagine if it they were like, oh, here's the first 10 minutes of the game.
Spoilers, I'm still on the
wagon, one would have had that. But no one would have had that experience of like, holy shit, it's a dragon. Whoa. Like, I remember playing Skyrim for the first time being like,
I remember
that's really cool. Or I remember playing Fallout where you see the bombs go off and you're like, that's really cool. If that is spoiled, like, I think that Starfield's going to have a big moment like that in the first 20 to 30 minutes. It's sort of like all of their games are geared up with these big starting bombastic set pieces that it would totally ruin that. Like,
demo just doesn't work for this game. You're absolutely hitting the nail there. You not only with those, you take away from those big moments, which would be stupid. Just a demo doesn't work for this game. They have shown you so much. 45 minutes. Do you know, as a content creator, we did a Starfield trailer on here. I had such an abundance of clips from different moods to different set pieces to curate to the music track to pick. I can't do that for any game that hasn't released this gen, but Starfield gave me that benefit.
And people keep saying like Microsoft have done no advertising or nothing for this game. I've seen every fucker in the world opening those goddamn Starfield controllers that I couldn't get. I've seen everybody on Twitter opening those controllers and with their boom, and with their headsets. And I saw, I'm pretty sure, not sure if it did happen, I might have been imagining it, an hour-long presentation on nothing but Starfield at the Microsoft Bethesda show. Did that happen, or am I just imagining that? Like, what more? Like, I don't get it. Oh, they haven't got a billboard up, and there's not a TV advert.
At that point, though, I will say I feel like Microsoft is just so terrible at marketing this game. They've done a lot. Yes, in the core gaming community, people have bought the controllers. But in terms of mass market penetration, there's so many opportunities that they just let slip with their fingers. First of all, we've had the whole Aliens fiasco last week or whatever. There are so many opportunities to market a game like this to the masses. Like this one big moment on space that it can translate so epically to an ad in the cinema, like on TV, like the big in space, find out what's happening online. You had an aliens like announcement of like, is there life on? Because the way they marketed this game, Todd Howard said, this is the game that they want you to delve into and think about the deeper questions about life out there in space. NASA punk, they alluded to that. So why is your marketing not extending on that point and just really nailing that? The marketing is there. So easy to advertise this.
The counter to that is that old media is dying quickly. People aren't going to the cinema anymore.
But Sony's
billboards
doing
don't
it very
work.
well.
Sony do it very well, and Sony have always been brilliant at advertising. That's something that they are really good at. But I think for Microsoft, they're in sort of like a rock and a hard place where if you go through traditional methods and you're advertising to mass market, the mass market at the moment all own PS4s or PS5s. Like they outsold Xbox massively. Like they just did. Like that's not a contentious thing to say, is that the PS4 wiped the floor with the Xbox One. And then the PS5, the Series X and S are doing well, but the PS5 is already selling like 40 million. So if you're marketing it to the mass market who maybe don't know much about video games and they just see like there's a cool game, and then they find out that it's not on the console that they've already got, in a cost of living situation, people aren't going to be like, I'm going to go out and buy a £500 console.
With that. That means that Xbox is never allowed to bring awareness to the mass market. It's like a cyclical. You've committed yourself to a dying philosophy because most people have
the way that they're going is through their online presence. That's what they need to do. They need to be much more active on YouTube. They have to have advertising on YouTube. YouTube pre-rolls
they're not doing that.
I know, and they need to do better on that. But I don't agree with the philosophy of dumping TVs on like TV adverts on and putting cinema adverts on and doing billboards. I just don't think that they work. They definitely need to do something. They need to do something other than the Twitter community doing it for them. I agree with that.
Yeah, this is something that I like. I responded to something. I said there's three things about this, which is one we already talked about, which is this is a hard game to demo. Two, which we already brought up as well, it's going to take time away from the developers. And three, into my opinion, just in all this that we're just saying, is Xbox's marketing has always sucked. I don't know about Bethesda. They've done decently in the past. I don't know if it's changed because they're now part of Xbox or anything. I saw somebody earlier say like ZeniMax are the ones that are marketing this, not Xbox. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But I recall having this same issue again. Sorry to bring it up again, but when like Halo Infinite was like a month out, I was like, "Where's the marketing for this? Like, this is your flagship title, and I don't see anything happening." But within like the 3 weeks or 4 weeks of launch, that's when they released these live action shorts and everything, and It was mostly the live action stuff. That's the things that I remember.
And they cleverly held back half the features to get people talking about it. That worked.
Sure. And then, but that's what I hope to see is like some live action or just something, because that stuff usually ramps up when you're within like 20 days, which we're not quite there yet. You know, we're almost there. But I would say let's check in on this in like 10 days from now, because they do it so last minute, you know. But you're also right. They don't do the Ben Stiller's playing as Kratos in a God of War Ragnarok trailer. They don't do the
Rick and Morty or not that.
Yeah, they don't do the stuff like that. And I wish they did. I see Harry's
with
point
NASA,
about like
there's so much things you can do with NASA.
Yeah. But I see Harry's point. Like, it's just they're trying to take the more internet approach instead of the mainstream approach, which if you're going to do that, fine. But when the time comes, I hope that they have some kind of campaign in the works, whether it's live action or things. They release these animated shorts, which is fine,
Mate,
whatever. But like,
shorts are not going to do anything, man. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
If I speak to 10 of my mates who are not core, like hardcore gamers, and I ask them what's Starfield, and they say, no, I don't know. They failed. Whereas with Spider-Man 2, they know about it. It's Spider-Man, I get it. It's easy to sell. But Starfield is also easy to sell. Like Interstellar was, like the space game. You could just make it just epic, short trailer, just inquisitive.
Which has just been a problem. Like that's just been a problem with all of Xbox's releases.
Whatever the release date is. Find out then. If there is their life out there, you get to find out the answer. Boom. The cryptic marketing, obviously, is but it's kind of true in the game.
And Bob Lazar in with a Starfield t-shirt, and that game will go like hotcakes.
So many things like that. Yeah,
one of my favorite.
Get someone freaking spacey. Get Joe Rogan. Get the aliens guy. The guy who goes aliens like that. You know, the weird hair, the conspiracy theorist.
George Tsikis.
Yeah. Just get him in there. There's so many things that they could do. I just find it frustrating that it's just weird. It's just like I'm just frustrated. I don't really care, but I just but in terms of like what you did, like it'd be nice to see a movement like that in gaming. And I don't know. I kind of miss I still think there's a lot of utility in the older formats, by the way, not just all on YouTube. I think that it really does help the mass market.
You know what? Actually, remember back in the day, I think it was like just basically throughout last year, they dropped these like little video diaries. Remember that?
Yeah, the dev diaries.
Oh,
yeah. Like that would be cool to like for even them to do that, you know, like every week to just kind of, you know, lead into the launch and to connect with people. That's not going to be the marketing thing, but that's constantly like, that's a countdown. That's what that is. That's a countdown, talking with the devs and, you know, just kind of like those little video diaries. And it's like I said, I think when we are within 2 or 3 weeks, that's when hopefully this will ramp up. But that's a problem Xbox releases to me have always had. They've never felt like cultural events.
That's coming out in a very long time.
Yeah,
very long time.
Xbox releases, they really rely on just the word of mouth. At least that's what I feel. And it's never a cultural event. That's always been my biggest issue with Xbox is they don't really make their games feel like.
The thing is Xbox have had some like absolute banger like adverts and commercials. The Gears of War, the Mad World.
That was just
amazing. Like mind-blowingly good. Halo 2. I don't know if you guys remember the 2 adverts that were banned in the UK.
Yes.
You had the baby that was born and smashed into the grave, and then you had the one where they were all running around a terminal. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah,
like they've got history of some really good advertising campaigns.
Do you remember any from like Bethesda RPGs? Like what was?
Yes. It was subliminal. It wasn't technically a Skyrim advert, but it was a guy who did a stupid song over the theme of the Skyrim theme tune where it's like, holy shit, this is it. Like that played in my mind nonstop up until the run up of Skyrim. And then there was the Skyrim like trailer that played like relentlessly prior to the game launching, where he's like the poster in the background, where he's got like his very iconic horn helmet. Like I remember Skyrim being very, very good in terms of advertising. And Fallout 3, I remember being also incredibly good.
Yeah, the Phosphor stuff. Was Phosphor advertised, or was it a community thing?
Yeah, like that was the thing as part of the trailer was he Phosphor at a dragon, and people were like,
yeah,
oh my god. Like that was the big
I remember that,
reveal.
You can do it. They stick with us to this day. And I think stuff.
I see Crisis Core bringing up the greatest marketing campaign in the history of mankind. Halo 3's Believe campaign. That was the best marketing campaign in the history of mankind.
Halo 2 even. I remember went to go to uni and everyone, even most of my friends when I was doing at law school were women, and they were like, "Oh, you guys, I bet you're gonna get that Halo game." I'm like, "How the frick did you know about that Halo game?" It's like everyone's everywhere. That's what they were saying. It's everywhere. Like they knew about Halo. These Greek women who didn't give a shit about video games, called me Malaga all the time. They were saying, about their game. I was like, oh, yeah, of course I do.
Ask them if they know about Starfield.
They were like 7 a.m. in the morning or something early. There was a queue to get at game. The only person who had pre-ordered the limited edition steel silver case managed to skip the queue. I was like, motherfuckers, I got the game, but I had to wait the whole day at uni to go home and play it. Man, there were moments, and Xbox just cannot neglect marketing. Those big moments are so fundamentally important to building your brand. I just don't get, and all this
making
like
it a moment
stuff.
Yep.
Making a moment. Sarah Bourne goes on stage and says Xbox exclusive, but no one fucking knows about this.
That's all cool. I remember not that long ago, everyone complaining that there was too much Redfall marketing with the Bite Back campaign that happened well before the game was delayed the first time, because Bite Back was everywhere.
Yeah.
I would rather have a game with no marketing that turns out to be really fucking good than a marketed game.
And Redfall.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. We can all agree.
Yeah.
Fucking, they'd put more effort on a game like Redfall than they did fucking Starfield. They advertised Redfall off the bat after the CGI trailer, and fucking Starfield. It was just.
Can we bring up Big E's super chat, because I think it's a good point. Biggity's.
Yeah, can you read it out?
He's just saying, like, well, first off, thank you, Biggity. But he says, like, PlayStation advertises better than Nintendo, but Nintendo sells more. It ain't the ads, it's the games. Which, like, seriously, that's what Nintendo does. Like, they just make a good game, and they run YouTube ads. They have a Nintendo Direct to just let people know, and they like announce their stuff within the year. So they kind of just release it. And then somehow it sells super well.
Yeah, but the Japanese market is all about Nintendo. I mean, they've got that market completely locked down. I know that Sony obviously sell a lot more than Microsoft,
but yeah.
But like Nintendo is another beast. Like we can't compare Xbox and Sony to Nintendo. Like that's just they're very different platforms, completely different. You don't buy a Switch for the next big AAA game. You play it because you know the exact type of game that's coming for it.
Yeah, but even Nintendo, on this show, man, that last Tears of the Kingdom trailer was so epic. Yeah. On YouTube, like it was mad, and I'm pretty sure I saw it on TV as well. I did see Tears of the Kingdom.
They made a TV version of it. Yeah, 30 seconds.
I did, and I saw that. We were shocked. It made the trailer was so good. It made me U-turn my semi-trolling. It's only DLC content. That's how good the trailer was. Not gameplay footage. The trailer. And that's the power of trailers, and they just don't do that. Danny Passion,
they might still have a launch trailer or something like that. But like, yeah, you're right. And they've shown a lot of this game. I see some people saying like, we saw this game for 45 minutes. I am good, and you are on paper right. It's just there's got to be the countdown effect. That's all I think we're saying. There's got to be the countdown.
There has to be a countdown. There has to be. Show me the gameplay. And that's a separate issue to marketing it to the masses. Danny Passion with the $2, he says, for months I've seen Starfield and Steam and CD keys. which is that's good, but it's not really marketing, in my opinion. It can be loosely, but not really effective in the scope of what we're talking about. Shabs with the £2 super, she goes, Gollum game of the year. Good luck with that. Hoggy,
do you think that Starfield is going to be? They're going to wait until 10 days before launch and have a T-10, T-9.
Oh, that'd be
all the way
so
down
cool.
like a rocket launch.
You have to do that. That's
a great idea. Listen to him, Microsoft. Have a countdown, then it's fine. It could be like a 10-second advert that does like a T- and every day down to launch is 10 seconds of something happening, and it's T-10 and then a big thing.
That's such a
if I see if I see Aaron and Phil Spencer, I will ask them that question. Like, what the hell are you guys doing over the marketing? Like, you guys are so bad at it. I will say it like that.
Maybe they could get Elon from just take him to one side while he's currently ruining Twitter and be like, can you rearrange your Starlink to say Starfield in the sky? And then it will just fly over saying Starfield over some village in Bulgaria.
Imagine, though.
Maybe they could do that.
Oh man, don't talk to Elon Musk about advertising and marketing, because he's disgustingly ruining X. The fuck? Let me read the super chat. Lucius Augustus, back to the VRAM point. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He goes, Series S has 10 gigs of VRAM with 8 gigs allocated for games and 2 gigs for its OS. In contrast, Series X has 16 gigs, 14 gigs for games. But thank you for that, because there's we're getting confused on the RAM stuff. Danny Passion official, he goes, Series X has enough power to do split screen. Why don't we try a title that already does split screen co-op and see for ourselves? Series X is a good console. We're not saying it's terrible, but it has had issues with split screen. Spartan 661 with the $5 super chat. I want to see a live action commercial like they did for Elder Scrolls Skyrim. It's a great looking CGI because of futuristic things we cannot do in real life. Oh, so cool. Space sci-fi setting is so cool.
I was thinking of the there's a Doom 2016 trailer that they had like a cover band or whatever just doing some death metal in the background, and it was basically live action. It was such a dope trailer. I don't remember the name of it, but I think if you could just find it if you type in Doom 2016 live action trailer, and that trailer, I was like, I don't know what this game is, but this is effing sick.
I don't remember that. I'll have to remember that. But you see,
that's one thing from
Bethesda. With you.
Yeah.
But often the ad doesn't even have to even talk about the game. Some of the most notorious ads, like Harry, you mentioned the person dying into the coffin, or the pew 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 one. Even Sony's ads that we thought were terrible, with the weird doll at the PS3 era, like la la la, whatever the hell that was, still sticks with you. That's effective marketing. Biggity08, thank you for the $5 super chat. He goes, Skyrim sold 60 million copies. Who doesn't know about Starfield? A lot of people, Biggity. That's the point. Skyrim is coming from Bethesda, but Starfield is...
I think the issue isn't about who doesn't know about Starfield. It's about who's counting down those days. Who is I September 6th writing it down. It's everybody knows about it, but they don't feel like they're part of something. They feel like
that's when Baldur's Gate 3 comes out on the PlayStation. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
It's such a troll.
I think something that people often forget, and I am guilty of this, is that there is a world outside of gaming Twitter of Joe Schmoes who just play Madden and FIFA and NBA and MLB The Show. I don't know. Does anyone still play that? But there's a core group of people who don't go on Twitter every day to argue about their consoles. They just have a console. I know,
they're
right?
Very suggestive. They're very suggestive as well. The resistance that they all put is very low. Honestly, you put space, is space. I don't know why I do that, but there's a lot of people that are outside of gaming Twitter. So obviously, we know about the Larian numbers at the moment with Baldur's Gate. We know about Starfield coming out. We know about X, Y, and Z. But there are literally hundreds of millions of people
that don't log into Twitter every day to find out their news about gaming, and they'll find it from Metro, or they'll find it from BBC, or they'll just like read an article on their phone and be like, the new Bethesda game doesn't let you do this, and they'll be like, oh, whatever that is.
Appeal to the mainstream instead of the hardcore.
Yeah. So I think that Xbox are very much like stuck in this rock and a hard place where the mainstream mainly plays PlayStation because of just the sheer volume of outnumbering the console sales from last gen. And the online presence is so hostile at the moment that if they do put some marketing out, what's the first thing you're going to see on there? Oh, PlayStation better. Oh, PlayStation better. Like, how do you crack that nut of like getting the mainstream to play your games, advertise online, knowing that your tweets or your YouTube videos will just be full of fucking idiots?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty pessimistic view of things.
But like, how do you like juggle that between the diet
juggling exercise? I honestly think it's quite simple. You suggested an idea which I think would be incredible. The countdown would be immense. Remember if
they do that now, I'm taking credit, by the way.
Yeah, if they do that, you definitely get to take credit. And remember,
I'll invoice them.
Invoice them. Remember I Love Bees, KBG? That was really good for Halo 3. Remember decoding?
I Love Beast?
Was it I Love Bees? Bees? Or there was a decoding this code, I don't know, chat, there was for Halo 3. It was a...
No, it was the ARG. It was like the alternate... It was like the outside of the... Yeah, like when Cloverfield was coming out and you had to like go on all the websites and solve all the clues. Yeah. They did like a full ARG for Halo 3, didn't they?
Yeah, it was really good. Like all that. They did all of that. They did that. And they did the TV mainstream thing. It was a movement. So your 10 days idea is so nail on the head there. Do that. Make it a movement. Make people
Phil, if you're listening.
Like, is there life? Find out in 10 days. NASA's logo. Boom. Okay, that's a bit touch and go. But you could do stuff like that. But yeah, it's just mad. It would have been, it's a good idea. Antonio says, bro's acting like he invented a rocket countdown. No, he's not. He's suggesting the marketing appeal.
I did. No, Gaz, I did. I invented the T-minus system. I went back in time. I went back in time to the 50s, to the early space race. I invented counting down. All right, guys?
Oh, man. AJH with the £2 super chat. Has it been me seeing the Lucasade ads? Yeah, I've seen some of those people sharing on Twitter. It's a Lucasade ad. I'm like, well, that's fucking going to make a big difference. Danny Passion Official. It's a shit ad as well. Have you seen the... Anyway, we talked about ads for ages. Was one the final super chat on this point. Please don't super chat on the marketing point. I've been Starfield on Instagram, Facebook for months, and I'm sure it's on TikTok. Gaz, name me a better and more effective place to market than Steam. Danny, your algorithm is all gaming and big booties. I know you, so don't use that as an example. Steam can fuck up. I'm talking about the mass market, Danny. It's not. There's way more better places. Even a bus is better. We talked about marketing for ages, and I didn't expect that. We didn't expect that. So that, but it's a really good conversation. Asa, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Would you? Oh no, I don't really.
Good job.
It's trying to be drunk. By the way, we had an update on this Transformers thing we were talking about last week. It turned out Lulu Shengme says that all the headlines were wrong. Hasbro has not lost the Transformers video game codes. So they have it. Will it come back, though? If the deal is done, it will go through. The Transformers thing, we will get it. I'm very confident that we will get Transformers back. I mean, a few months ago, I tried to buy the game. Like the old Transformers War for Cybertron. They're really good games. Because I remember that when it came out on 360, I played the demo so much, I just didn't buy the game, and I'm trying to buy it. It's so hard, but yeah, like, so there's a chance it comes back, but it needs to come back. It's so good. Such good games.
Free Raven Software, free them.
This is the thing. See, I'll dive into something else, but there are a whole suite of studios there that Activision have butchered and just shat on. That, if Xbox fans are not not aggressive in demanding more than just COD on Game Pass, I will rebuke you in Reverb a million times. New Nintendo console. There it is. Finally, we're getting confirmation that the Switch is coming to an end. Maybe, I don't know. New Nintendo console's planned for the second half of 2024, and I have no idea what it's going to be. In fact, I don't even know what Nintendo are going to reveal with this, man. KBG, like, I always call you the Nintendo guy. You're not, but you do play a lot of Nintendo, unlike Acer. So I do have to ask you about this, man. Like, there are rumors that this thing won't even have backwards compatibility support, which would be freaking ridiculous if this game, it would be so dumb. But what would you even, or call it a Super Switch, what would you even want from a Super Switch? Yeah, well,
I'm with you on Super Switch. First off, I'm with you on that. Second, yeah, so the story on this is just, as Gaz said, just potentially leaked. Like, we don't, if this is true, who knows? But it's just sounding, there's a lot of smoke, when there's smoke. So, but first off, they're saying it's not an OLED screen. They're going back to LCD, which is the first Switch model, which a lot of people have. It's the one that Asa threw in the background of his intro, probably. Yeah. And as somebody that went from the base Switch to the OLED Switch, the difference was so massive. It was crazy how different that screen is. I never tried it. Oh yeah. It was crazy to me. But the main thing is, they say, because if they go back to LCD, it sucks, but fine, whatever. Like, we're there for the games, and we're probably gonna play it undocked anyway, so whatever.
I play it non-docked, but okay.
Yeah. But what I hope is the two things. One, they don't have a massive bevel on it like the OG Switch has. There's like enjoy the 6.7 inches of real estate. There's like an inch of that taken off by the bevel.
Yeah,
but the OLED, it's like the same size, if not just ever so slightly bigger, but there's like no bevel on it whatsoever. And I'm like, oh, not only does it look better, but it's a more utilized screen. Ooh! And
I've always been told that a couple of extra inches doesn't matter. Am I wrong about that? Or
not if you're a Nintendrone.
You never use a penis anyway if you're a Nintendo.
But they did say it's going to go up to like 8 inches instead of now. All I can think about is this conversation. You 40-year-olds, you freaking 40-year-olds. but yeah, like they said, it's basically going from like 6.7 to 8, and cool, at least you made it bigger, but we're freaking 5.
We are.
So yeah, bigger screen.
Guys, you're a dick. Whistling just shot out my nose and it burns. Fuck me.
I did that to Britango when he was taking a bong hit. Now you. Perfect.
I see Wade Johnson just pause. I just see that in the chat. But yeah, I'm with you guys. Like, there's no releasing system without backwards compatibility. Like, if you don't have backwards compatibility on this system,
you're taking.
I don't know how they get through that. And
Nintendo won't get through it. We'll buy it day one. Don't even lie. You'll buy the Super Switch if it doesn't.
Which the report, that's what they're saying. Like that's why we bring this up, is because the report, that's what it's saying. It's saying, it's going to be an 8-inch screen. They're going to be LCD, and they're not going to have backwards compat. And that's the thing. Like, to me, everything else fine. But if it's not backwards compatible, the Switch has literally become the third most sold console ever.
Yeah.
The only things that are above it is just the Nintendo DS, barely, and then the PlayStation 2 by like a decent margin. And this is a system that somehow sold like 50 million copies of Mario Kart Deluxe again. A game that was on last gen. The new Zelda is now like either the fastest selling Zelda ever, or it's the second fastest. I think it's the fastest. Yeah.
Jeez.
And bringing this back to the beginning of the show, full circle, Pikmin 4 is a very low-key franchise, and you know what their highest-selling one before was? It was Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which came to the Switch. That thing sold 160,000. You know how many copies Pikmin 4 sold? 400,000.
Damn.
by a wide margin and improved, and that's the power of the Switch. That's how many people have bought things for the system. There's like 20 million people that have Animal Crossing. And if you tell all these people that if you go to our next system, make sure you keep your original Switch, that is 50 million people that bought Mario Kart Deluxe that's going to be like, fuck off. Like,
we'll still buy a thing. Fine.
They will. That's the thing. People complain, but they still buy it. That's the annoying part. We complain, but they still buy it.
Buy it. I will buy it. Everyone here will buy it.
The way that I'm seeing what possibly is coming out is like Nintendo having multiple consoles. So they have the Switch, which is their thing.
Yeah.
And then they had the N64 and they had the Game Boy at the same time.
Yeah.
They had the GameCube and they had the DS. And do they want to start something that's a completely different system and then run the Switch alongside it? But then they're so similar that are you then going to be in a Wii and a Wii U situation where no one fucking knows the difference between them?
Yeah.
Do they still call it the Switch and then people buy it and are like, this isn't a Switch? Like, I think that the Wii U has done some big damage for how they want to move forward with the Switch, because people forget that what an absolute disaster the Wii U was. And then exactly like you said, if you're
big reason for its failure. It goes, Wii U is a very good example in the console space of how important naming conventions are and how detrimental that can be to the performance of a console. Because if you called that Wii U something else, I'm very sure it would have a very different fate.
It was a good console, the Wii U. It was,
I think it would have. Like, the Wii U the Wii was such massive, like Wii U, people didn't really, like, the masses didn't really know what it was. Like, it was
and they did the same thing with the DS, where they had like the DS and then the DSi and the DS Lite and the 3DS and the 2DS and then the DSi XL and then the 3DS XL.
Yeah.
And I think that if they bring out this new console and it's called the Super Switch or the Switch Pro or the Mega Switch, or if it's got anything to do with Switch on it, it's not going to sell anywhere near as well. Obviously, Nintendo are fine. They've got like 500 years worth of cash just in a vault that they just swim around in. But like, it could, if they have it as a separate system and keep the Switch going, then they can't have it as a handheld. It has to be a full like TV console. They can't have the two running concurrently, because then all it's going to do is then create confusion in regards to, well, I've already got a handheld Switch. Why would I get this new one if I can do the same with this? Like, the Wii U, I think, is a big, like, don't do this, guys. Like, just do not do that at all. And I understand why they might not want to do backwards compatibility, because they might want to like completely separate themselves from the Switch and start again. But it's such a huge risk. It's a massive risk.
With the BC side, I don't think it will be a massive risk. I think actually they've sold enough on it, and a big part of the marketing could be because of the lack of backwards compat and what you're saying about people conflating the Switch with the Super Switch. The backwards compat would actually alleviate that problem, because immediately off the bat, people know this is a whole new thing from Nintendo.
But then if they do that, they cannot have it called the new Switch or the Switch Pro.
Forget the naming convention we suggested.
Or
something else.
Yeah. So they have to.
For me, Nintendo typically, like, as a massive Nintendo fan as I am, like, look, I've got all of their consoles and like no games on any of them. The new one is like. They're really stubborn in that they don't just want to do a more powerful version of their previous console, because they've never been about power. So the Switch, whatever comes next, isn't just going to be the Switch again, but a bit faster. It's going to do something new, but they don't completely disregard what they've done before. Like, they've not got rid of the gyroscopic controls from the Wii. They just kept trying to add to it and iterate and add something new, like a new gimmick. Overused word, but a new gimmick. So this one is going to be just like the Switch, except if you lick it, it's going to taste like Mario's ballsack. Something like that. Right? That's going to be the feature. It's going to have something new, something unexpected. Taste.
Taste the console. But that's the thing I'm actually very, very excited about.
And it's not going to be back compat. That's going to be part of the Nintendo Switch Online service. They're going to repackage those and let you subscribe.
I hate that service.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I pay £70 a year to play fucking Mario 64. Nah.
It's so
Shit,
true.
I like it more when it tastes Mario's ballsack, though.
That's the bit that I'm really intrigued about, and I feel like Nintendo, the burden is on them to prove me wrong, maybe. But I feel they're so innovative. I just can't think of what they can do in the gaming space that would just change the paradigm again. But
they've tried AR and they've tried 3D, and those just didn't work at all. I don't see what this next big thing can be other than it's just a Switch that does a bit more. There's a bit more power.
Here's the thing: the Switch, part of its success is that Nintendo kind of just leaned into the fact that they are the most notorious game company out there. They were the ones that kind of founded and make games a thing somewhat, at least get very popular. And with this Switch, they took a step back and they're just like, okay, let's, and it was so smart. Like, let's just think about this. Okay, the Wii sold great, but then we did the Wii U and that was a problem to people. But the DS, when we switched, that was fine, and the 3DS sold like hotcakes. Okay, our mobile division's doing great. We can make some good console games. Why don't we just combine those two and get rid of the gimmicks? And that way, if somebody buys a game from us, it's just for their handheld or home system. Like, that was their innovation, is just, let's just make a system for everyone. And then all these third parties hopped on it and just made purely this gaming system. And the reason I bring this up is because, you bring up the idea, what did they have to do to innovate? At this point, it's kind of like, I think they took a step back and got rid of the gimmicks. They have the motion controls. That's still a thing. But like, they did the DS.
It's not even gimmicky. The Switch was a fundamental game changer. I play it undocked. I played it all of last week going to work, going back, and it changed the game. Nintendo, do not downplay the manner in which and the seriousness with which Nintendo views gaming and how to evolve it. Yeah. They will find an element of it, how to interact with the whole experience in a way that if anyone will do it, it's Nintendo. They've routinely done it, and everyone copies them. And
they will never abandon this being a handheld system. I'm going to say that boldly.
I don't think so. They will
never, ever abandon that, because that's what's helping this be so mainstream. I know people want that. They want them to make a super powerful system, but as Asa said, they don't care about power. They care about just for everyone kind of a thing.
I agree with you.
Saying it's for kids, and it's like, not really. It's just they're trying to appeal to everyone, whether you're a child, adult, teen, whatever. And in order to do that, they want to keep it handheld. They will never let it go from being handheld.
I'll be shocked if there isn't, because it strikes at the heart of where everyone is trying to position to be in Nintendo. Nintendo and the gaming, the way people experience their gaming, is becoming more mobile, becoming way beyond TV. To confine it back, it means that I would be shocked. I don't think that's going to happen. But new Nintendo, we get to see, and that's why it's so exciting to see. I'm so grateful for Nintendo. It may not be the primary console play. Well, actually, I spent a lot of time on it, but it is that company is the lifeblood of this industry. It really is, in terms of pushing innovation. So I'm really looking for hope they do deliver.
Did part of the rumor say that they're sticking with cartridges as well, or am I going a bit?
Yes, they're sticking, and that gives me like hope. That's why I'm like, when I heard that, I'm like, but it's not backwards compatible, but you're sticking with cartridges. God damn it!
Yeah, I know, but I mean, they'll get away with it.
Because obviously, the only thing that I want from Nintendo, I don't actually want a new gimmick. I don't want the whole taste of ballsack. I want something that lets me play the Switch games at better quality on my TV. That's all I want from Nintendo, and it's definitely not what they're going to give me.
They might do. You never know. Maybe AR. Look, AR is the next big thing. If they made it natively, because I think technology, slightly nerdy and a little bit offshoot in terms of tech. These phones, man, these are monolithic, weird, archaic already for me. I'm ready for AR. I'm ready for either the optics, like just have it there, the UI there. And I think it's coming in a few years. I don't know, chat, if you think AR is going to be mainstream, but I definitely do. I feel like this is going to be looked at as something really like, remember the time when you used to like newspapers were like, remember the time you used to do this? And I think that's disappearing. And I don't know if the next Nintendo console will do that, but I do see when the technology gets to the point where it can mass market produce it, Nintendo will be the first to do it. Perhaps.
I'm going to bring back the Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy. No, well, not that. Just ruin your eyes. I think AR is the next frontier. Microsoft might, if they actually get their act together, beat them to the punch. But I don't know. There's just so many ways that this can happen, and I'm very excited. And that's 2024, and that's pretty much a given, right? Like that's happening, like it's confirmed.
That's what they're saying, and if it's not in 2024, oh my god,
yeah,
that'll be the 7th year, which is about the time that consoles usually last. It's usually 5 to 7 years. Well,
last couple of gens have been like that. Yeah,
but Nintendo's always been like 4 to 7. So yeah. they're at the end game. So.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. But we have like this year has been epic year for gaming, and we haven't even had Mortal Kombat release, or Starfield release, or even Baldur's Gate on consoles release, Spider-Man 2. If you really want DLC, no, but yeah, there's so many good games on all platforms, and it's. Then next year we're going to get to see the Switch, and I think it's going to really add so much flavor to the console gen. It's such a good gen. Like the pessimism that's carried over from last gen has lingered on for a while, but I think you peel that away, like we are in a very good time gaming wise. I think the whole of last gen was really, really defective, like just crap. And we really should be enjoying it. All the power narrative, consolidation, all that nonsense. It's so healthy, the gaming industry. But when I say that, the next topic is about riots in New York as Cenat, a streamer, and Phantom, I don't know who they are. They caused riots. We're about to end the show, but I don't know what to say about this other than the PlayStation 5 is really madly desired that people...
Well, no, I think that this just shows how toxic the PlayStation community are, to be honest.
You're such a dick.
I think that's all it shows.
Good luck, Harry. Go lucky.
You don't see Xbox fans going out there ruining Times Square.
There's only 5 of them. You can't create a riot with 5 people.
Yeah, you just create a bit of a disturbance.
Just a bit of a disturbance.
Disturbance of Xbox fans. Yeah. Oh, they kicked a bin over. Ooh, look out.
I loved how social media went out at a Twitter space like, look, PlayStation is so badly wanted, but it wasn't just the PS5s. He was promising to give PCs away, gift cards away. It was a lot of giveaways, and it was to see this streamer. But it goes to show the power of social media. Gaming has just elevated to another level where gamers and streamers are inciting riots, like just by their mere presence of it. I think we need to take stock of how crazy gaming is. When in history have we seen riots started by gamers and gaming fans? That's the main takeaway for me, that I don't think people are taking on board. Like, we've just accepted gaming is so mainstream. We've seen these riots start like that, just for fans, just milling about together. It's mad. It's crazy.
Into a couple of weird midnight launches, but I wouldn't call them riots.
There were pretty riots, but there were on the news. There was helicopters. There was all freaking kinds of shit. I thought that was a riot. The footage I saw looked pretty chaotic.
Oh yeah, no, they looked mad. I think that a lot of people,
I guess, I don't know.
I think a lot of people just sort of like saw what was going on social media and were like, "Yeah, that looks fun. Let's go break some shit." It's spectator syndrome, isn't it? Like mob mentality. You see lots of other people do it, and you have this like,
let's jump on that
anonymity. Yeah. But yeah,
it must be fun to watch, but it's also pretty chaotic. It's just weird. This is where gaming is at now, ladies and gentlemen. Like we gamers are not the outliers here. Like, it has permeated the social sphere to a degree that continues to surprise even me. It's mad. Final topic. Battlefield 2042 is launching on Game Pass. That was a huge moment. I've told you here, every narrative is wrong. I'm running out of topics. There's not much really to talk about. We've kind of covered everything. We've gone on for quite a long time. Have I missed a topic that you guys want to talk about? I don't think so. No. I'm enjoying the chat.
Not that I can think of.
There was some report about like Square Enix's like income earnings was super low or something like that.
Oh yeah, it was like 76% down on their expected earnings or something.
Yeah, so and honestly, I was having a hard time interpreting it, but like, I don't know, people were just guessing their theories as to why that might be happening and blah blah blah, and so I
think the main reason was NFTs. I think that they went so hard into NFTs and they obviously plummeted immediately. I think NFT sales went down like 93% after 3 months into the year. And I think that caused a big issue with Square Enix.
What I'm going to just say, though, is because I know I wasn't on last week where that topic came up, but all I'm going to say is that this new CEO, if you didn't know, it was a brand new CEO that was with him on stage, like Phil Spencer last week when they announced Final Fantasy 14. And I was like, is he new? And then I looked into it. Oh, he's actually replacing the guy that was there proposing the NFT thing. And he replaced him like literally in June. And then what happens like a month later, we want everything to come to Xbox. Like, let's do it. So I don't know if maybe that's something he's trying to do to change the course. And maybe that's a problem too, because they've made so many exclusivity deals with not just PlayStation, but Nintendo as well. I applaud the person that brought up, like, I guess Nintendo as well, because there's a lot of exclusive Nintendo titles. And maybe that's what they're just tired of. Maybe they're just tired of, like, you know what? Maybe it's the exclusivity thing. We keep taking these deals, and maybe that's chewing into the potential sales that we could have. So maybe that's a part of it too. But I don't know.
The new CEO will change things a lot. It's Hopefully. A turning point for Square. It has to be with those kind of numbers. I also think they don't take into account Final Fantasy 16 and the impact that's going to have. You're going to have Final Fantasy 7X2, whatever it's called. Next
Integrate,
year.
Is it?
Integrate, yeah. So that will Rebirth, whatever. That was it, Rebirth? Is going to change, whatever it's called. That's going to be big on PlayStation.
You know, this is actually interesting. Like thinking about I just now thought of this. Sorry, the income earnings thing. Like last year, that's when we heard. I believe that's when they sold off a lot of their properties. You know, so maybe this was kind of a built-up thing. So I don't know. That's just speculation, but like
they attributed it in their own stuff. Like you're right that it's a weird term because normally you hear about like profits, revenues, losses, and all the rest of it. But it was operating income that dropped, which is an unusual term in what we get from financials, and it dropped by like almost 80%. They attributed that mostly to increased development costs, rather than saying that things aren't selling as well as they liked.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they were selling so many of their, IPs, because they knew, like, okay, if we keep producing these things and games are now, like as Matt Booty was saying a month ago, whatever, games are no longer the 2 or 3 year development cycle. They are now like 4 or 5 years. And maybe that's what they saw. They're like, we can't keep developing Tomb Raider and things like that. So let's just sell them off and focus on what sells best for us or something. I don't know. But
like the main takeaway for all of us is the new CEO is making positive changes, whether you're an Xbox fan or not. Like it can't be worse than the last one. It can't be. So even if you hate Xbox and you're really bitter that Final Fantasy might get played by more people, you got to be glad that they've dropped the NFT route, right? That's got to count for something. So.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Probably tell me in chat. Danny Passion Official, you tagged me on Twitter and you used the Instagram Starfield's sponsored ad on. You don't get it, Danny. But we're not going to talk about
Somebody also brought up earlier, and it's just because I'm here. They're like, Halo Infinite's trending on Twitter. And I'm like, okay, I know exactly what's going on. Just somehow, there was this Kotaku article that was like, Halo Infinite's back, baby, or whatever. And it's somehow like that triggered this movement that I had no idea. I didn't even know this article was out. But like I released the video, plug into that, by the way. And I was like, holy shit. There's actually more content in Infinite potentially than other Halos, which admittedly was like a potential clickable line, but it is kind of true when I looked into it. And I had no idea I released that video around like I guess there was a couple other people that was releasing similar things, and then like the same day 343 announced like, oh, by the way, we're going to add a brand new map next week, which is basically a remake of a Reach map, and some updates to the game and blah blah blah. And I was like, what's going on? So basically the Infinite community is in a positive moment right now, at least the people that are keeping up with it. So that was the earlier thing.
And I got hit with 130 ms, so I was like, you know what, this.
Yeah.
I tried to like you just suck. But you know, a lot of people are enjoying Halo Infinite. It is actually getting like slow resurgence there. It'll never be what it needed to be, but it's really good to see that same kind of the Master Chief Collection resurgence, almost like redemption arc. The next Halo is going to be needed for that. You know what? The next Halo generally isn't even in the conversation for Xbox at the moment, which is great.
Right.
It's great because Xbox, you know, when it does come, take your time. Boom, Halo comes out of nowhere, and people are like, "Oh yeah, shit, Halo, the new one!" Like that will be big, Unreal Engine or whatever. And we'll realize then that Xbox has evolved far beyond Halo, even though Halo is still a beast. I hope PA Heinz just sort that shit out, man. There's a lot of writing on it. Halo's not dead. Infinite is just not where it needs to be. BD08, thank you for the $5 super checkers. When Phil was on stage with Square Enix, it looked more like an acquisition. That's okay. To you may be bigoted, but it didn't look like that. It was a celebration. More importantly, yeah, it's a celebration, but also an indication of a lot of
good
respect, respect that could indicate not acquisition, because that's crazy. And to be talking about that, in my opinion, just ask for more Final Fantasy, more day and date stuff on Xbox. The best thing about this is Xbox is just not giving up on Japan, and they're really trying. So whether or not they succeed is one thing, but you know, the fact that they're trying, that's great. Need to do a lot more, but Phil Spencer coming himself out on stage, you can't ask for more than that. You can't just complain too much about that. That's a big deal, in my opinion. Well, Asa, before we say goodbye, are we doing a show next week? Because you're not around.
I'm not around next week, so that becomes rather up to you.
Yeah, you have to teach me how to do it.
There's sure not going to be one then. You're not. Are you able to learn? Do you think we can achieve that?
I can do it on my own, but this is like a very basic StreamYard one, but not with all the fancy. Well, I'm sure I can do it.
People look
if you have time
that, yeah.
I think they will.
I believe in you, Gaz. I believe in you.
I don't.
You can have because, like Gaz says, I'm not here next weekend. I'm on holiday, which means you can, if you can get it together, you can do a 100% console war episode. It'll be beloved by all.
Oh shit! I know exactly what to do for that.
You could get Wooly and me on at the same time. It would be amazing.
You could tell the difference.
Hello, the same person.
Don't deserve to be on this channel. No chance. But yeah, okay. Next week,
the title's not long enough. That's the problem. Worldwide International Association of Gaming Podcasters on podcasting platforms and Twitter and gaming. Just a really catchy name. Good bloke. Love him. Solid guy.
I love you, Harry. I love you so much. We will do it. We will do a live stream. We'll figure something out. I'll figure something out next Saturday. It has to happen. The show must go on. And I'll probably make it very console worry. Because, yeah, just before Gamescom, because I will not be here the following. Wait, what? No, I will be here on the 19th. I won't be here on the 26th because I'll be at Gamescom. So Ace says you'll do the nice calm show to maintain equilibrium. And what are you doing that face for? What's that face?
My face. I can't take it off, like I said earlier.
All right. Well, before we go, Asa, man, well, just tell the people's things. Lots of things.
No.
Okay.
No.
Is that your outro?
Yeah, no, I'll be in the usual places. I'll be over on my channel doing some streaming and things. Thursday, I always talk for like 2 or 3 hours with people, and a nice back and forth. It's a good thing. So come along there if you want to. Like I said, I'm not here next weekend. I'll be away for a very small holiday. That's it. That's all I've got. So Harry, Tony, thank you as always for coming along and keeping everyone entertained.
Absolutely.
What's Starfield? I don't know. I've heard of it.
Yeah, man. And Harry, you fucking psycho. Tell people where they can't find you, because Game & Watch, you just killed it before it even got to Thrive.
Yeah. Well, I was at the wedding with Sean the other day. Obviously, my co-host got hitched as the best man. We might be doing something soon, maybe, if things line up. So we might be back in some form. We don't know if it will be podcasting yet, but we might do something. You can find me on Twitter if you haven't blocked or muted me, at HarryGoLocky. Asa, I want to apologise for insinuating that you may have been a paedophile. I'm sorry about that. I've had 3 whiskeys now, so I'm going to shut up before I say anything really stupid. I'll pass it over.
Not how time works. That was not before you said it. Never mind.
Wow, KBG. I hope you had a good time. Yeah.
Hello. I am not a pedo, but in case you want to find anything, just Google Samurai KIBIJI KBG. And yeah, I just posted a Halo video. I'd love everybody to check out, especially I need to put out this graphic that I put together that I kind of want everybody to just retweet. One Piece tonight. I don't know if anybody in the chat is ready for the internet to explode, but that's going down. And yeah, the internet might explode tonight, basically, because of One Piece.
Yeah, the anime.
And
yeah.
Oh yeah. And
D&D from me, tuned. Anime from KBG. God, what we like.
And just stay tuned, because QuakeCon's coming up, Gamescom coming up. I'm looking forward to talking with you guys, and Pikmin 4 is great.
Yeah, Pikmin 4. No. I can't get excited for that. But I'm not saying it's a bad game. I just can't get excited for it. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you both. Honestly, it's such a good chat. I kind of regretted we ran out of topics, because I just want to carry on talking. It was such a good show. But I hope everyone enjoyed it. Hit the like button. Huh?
Keep talking for a second. I forgot to change the outro.
I'll keep talking for a second as Asa tries to do. Oh, by the way, the Source video that's been in the works for about a month. Honestly, it doesn't mean that it's epic. I think you'll like it. It's almost done. It's my birthday tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out to film some stuff tonight, and then hopefully push it out. Mondays are dead for YouTube, I think. So Tuesday, I'll hopefully have it, and I hope you like it. It's some of the stuff is a bit older, but it's nice. I think you'll like it. So do check it out. Septic Source, my personal channel. You've seen some videos there. Doing more videos there, and a stream hopefully next week. But just been very, very busy. Whilst I'm talking, I'm looking at Ace's face. Yeah, fuck you guys. No, just kidding. Everyone, I love you guys. Honestly, hit that like button if you enjoyed the show. We're going to have a lot more content as always, I promise, especially on this channel. I just need the Source video is just a mental block, because I always want it to be good. Pressure's there, but it'll be good. Dreamcast guy, you must be kidding. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week. Please take care.
City.